Hey there, guys. How are you? Welcome to a late night. I guess it's not late. Maybe some places it is. But welcome to a brand new live show exclusively here on YouTube because, well, I guess that's the only place I can host a live show. But thank you so much for joining me, nevertheless. I figured it's Friday night. I have nothing better to do. I hope you have nothing better to do than look at my stupid, disgusting face for the next few hours with a bowl of popcorn in front of you and something cold to drink, 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, to wash that popcorn down. But yeah, let's just talk about movies, life, whatever you want. But before we do that, there's something I want to tell you guys, and I'm slightly ashamed of myself and mildly disgusted with myself as well. On my desk, you can't see it, and that's probably for the best. I have 1 Red Bull, 2 Red Bulls, 3 Red Bulls, 4 Red Bulls, 5 Red Bulls, 6 Red Bulls, and a bang over here. So yeah, I need to get my shit together. Anyway, trying this out tonight. It's a Rain Inferno. And I thought it was going to be spicy, like it would taste like Tabasco sauce or something, but no, it's just kind of tastes like Code Red Mountain Dew. So anyway, let's dive into your questions. That's enough about energy drinks, but I felt like I needed to tell you guys. I wanted to confess my sins to you, and now I feel better. Okay, so about an hour ago, before I even started, I got a few questions in, and the first one comes from Scarly. How come no one talks about Insomnia? That's a pretty good Christopher Nolan movie. It's a good movie. I just think in comparison to his other movies, it's sort of just it feels sort of like a typical Hollywood film before the Nolan style got really heavy-handed in his films, or he maybe found his own footing. But then again, Memento was that non-linear storytelling by Nolan. So I think with Insomnia, he was trying to appease the studio with a film that was easy to consume, probably. It was like a safe bet movie. But it's one of my least favorite Nolan films. I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with the film. It was okay to watch one time, but it didn't intrigue me all that much to watch it again. The next one comes from Mr. Drown 73. Howdy, John. Hope you're doing well. Gotta do some stuff tonight, so I'll say hello now. Stay safe and have a good stream. Night. What do you have to do? What are you doing right now? You can't just shut up, phone. You can't just leave it out there like that. What are you doing? All right, the next one, Nev African Dad Mom has become a member. Yay! That's a great name, by the way. Azim the Dream Reviews. John, 2 days ago, you said you can talk about anything you want to on your channel, but don't you have to find a niche to attract a certain audience? Won't they go away if you talk about JW one video and Cobra Kai the next? I don't want to lose an audience expectation. I don't want to lose audience expectation. I promise you I'm not dyslexic. Sometimes when I read questions, I want to fill in the gaps with how I would ask it. So my brain always goes that route until I actually read the actual question. So yeah, so Azim has a YouTube channel, and I think he's a little bit confused on maybe what kind of content to create. And I said, create whatever you want to. I said, create whatever you're passionate about, because that's what kind of keeps you going on YouTube. So it just depends. I mean, if it's a movie channel, make it movie themed. But then if it comes to like a political topic, if it relates to movies, sure, talk about it if you're passionate about it. Andrew Smith. Little John just took a dab, ready to rumble. I don't know what that means. I know what a dab is, but thank you. Carter Lovejoy. Get flickmanized. Get flicked. That's my saying. Get flicked. And you wake up cold and lonely the next morning. Coxenormous. You thought you got me, but I knew what I was saying. Hey, John, watching your stream all the way from the Czech Republic. What do you think about Bruce Willis Bruce Willis's career going down the toilet with all the B movies. Maybe he owes money to the IRS. It's a weird phenomenon. All these major A-list stars from the 80s and 90s now do straight to Walmart $5 movies. But they're getting paid money. I mean, some of these crap, shitty movies that go to the Walmart bin have budgets of $5 million, sometimes more. And these actors typically get a percentage of the overall budget of a film. That's typically how it works. So if a budget of a movie's $1 million, well, if Nick Cage stars in that movie, it's in his agreement where he gets 20% of the budget, no matter what it is. So he's getting a pretty good payday for shooting some movie that probably took 2 weeks. But yeah, it is weird. Like John Travolta, Bruce Willis, Nicolas Cage. They're all in these movies that you never thought they would ever do 20 years ago, but now they're doing it. And I mean, I guess it's easy money. But then again, every once in a while, they're in like a major studio film. So it's sort of a weird phenomenon. And then again, the whole concept of like an actual movie star is sort of dying out. It seems like every character in every movie, for the most part these days, is sort of interchangeable for the most part. Unless you have like, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. But in most films, it feels like you could just replace that actor with another actor and it wouldn't matter because, well, charisma is dying. All right. Speaking of charisma, I just watched Jurassic Park yesterday on Netflix. Jeff Goldblum. Can we all just take a moment to appreciate Jeff Goldblum? Only he could deliver lines like he does. You're going to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour? Hello? All right. Stefan, have you ever checked out Velvet Buzzsaw on Netflix? Same creators of Nightcrawler. I did watch Velvet Buzzsaw. I was really anticipating the film because Nightcrawler, I've said it 10,000 times and I'll say it once again. The name of the company is Video Production News, a professional news gathering service. That is how it should be read, and that is how it should be said. So yeah, I did watch Velvet Buzzsaw when it came out originally on Netflix. I hated it. I hated every second of it. I was like, I honestly feel like Dan Gilroy, who directed Nightcrawler, and I think he can be a great director, but he almost feels like a one-hit wonder right now. The trailers and movies. Have you seen Tenet? Yes, I have seen Tenet. I've talked about it, I feel like extensively, except I haven't done a review, which I need to. I don't know. I've talked about it on my podcast. We talked about it for maybe 45 minutes. I talked about it in the last live stream, and I didn't like it. I tried. I wanted to. I desperately was trying to like the movie for 2.5 hours, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. Thus, I sort of just lost the immersiveness factor, and then I didn't care. But it was pretty to look at, I guess, and the score was good. But the score is all you hear when you watch the movie. You don't hear any dialogue. Luke O'Neill. Hey, from the UK. Favorite David Lynch film, and have you ever watched Twin Peaks, including The Return? And also been watching your video since 2013. Well, thanks, Luke. Much appreciated, man. Not the biggest David Lynch fan. I know people love him. I don't necessarily love any David Lynch film. There's a few I've watched along the way, and what is it? Mulholland Drive. I have seen a few episodes of Twin Peaks. And then I watched the original Dune, which is not a very good movie, which gives me hope for the new Dune film. And it had a pretty good trailer, but I have some reservations with it. But yeah, the giant CG sandworm at the end of the Dune trailer, though, got my little goosebumps going. I liked it. Ethan Holgate, do you like the original Planet of the Apes movies? I like the first one with Heston. You damn dirty apes! But the sequels were sort of bad. The sequels started coming out in the 70s, and they just got really bizarre and weird. And how many sequels are there? Aren't there like 3 or 4? I saw part of the second one, but that was probably back in 1998. So, but if you want to talk about the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes film, well, we can do that all day. That's a piece of shit. All right. Joshua Garrison, thoughts on Candyman being rescheduled? Every film is going to be rescheduled. See, it's a weird thing. See, what happened was theaters weren't open, so they kept delaying release dates and delaying them. And then finally theaters sort of opened up, and then movies came out, and then the box office returns weren't quite what the studios were hoping for. And now they're thinking, well, why don't we just push these back, even though theaters might be open right now, but we need to make more money with these movies. So I plan on a lot of release dates being pushed back because they're looking at the box office returns for something like Tenet, and it's just not what they wanted. And I would say partially it's because the movie didn't really resonate with people, and no one's really talking about it or buzzing about it and saying you got to go see it. But yeah, it's a bizarre time right now. So I mean, I think Warner Brothers right now is. They're talking about pushing Wonder Woman back once again to December. It's supposed to come out in October, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. I think December might be a safer bet. But then again, if studios keep pushing back the movie releases, the theaters can only hang on for so long before they have to say, well, we can't afford to hang on anymore. We have to shut down. And then where do you release your movie? VOD? And yeah, I'm curious to see over the next year what really happens. I say just release everything. Just do it now. Release it into the theater. Release it on VOD. Release it on VHS. I don't give a shit. Just put it out there. Joe Mama, give us a scoop. Any big plans for the Flick Pick or yourself personally in the next 5 years or so? The Flick Pick is a separate entity. I'm two people in one. I have split personalities. It's true, though. Yeah, for the next 5 years, honestly, no. I'll be honest, I'm going with the flow of life right now. I just enjoy day to day, and I have a little bit of a plan for like the next month or two, but other than that, nothing major. I mean, I guess get a house for the 6th time because paying rent sucks. I don't know. I mean, hopefully not moving out of the state or out of the city that I currently live in again. But I can only hope. But I have a few projects I want to make happen. I've had a few series ideas for YouTube I've wanted to develop for a while now. And also I'll tell you my short-term plan. I have this I want to redo the Flick Cave and the way I shoot videos, and I want to sit on a red couch with a coffee table in front of me and like a bowl of popcorn for every video where I talk about movies. I've gotten to the point where that's how I need to create videos. It feels more organic and healthy, and I don't know. It just feels more comfortable. And when you're more comfortable, I don't know, maybe more productive. At least that's what I hope. Balls in the hole. Hey, John. I'm still not sure if Bloom have done it with Nina. They could have made it clearer by adding a love scene. I blame the jealous director. Oh, that's pretty clear, man. Have you seen the movie where he loses his shit and he's like, next time we're in your apartment, I want you to do the things I ask, not like the last time. Oh yeah, they had I don't know if it was romantic, but they had a relationship. So absolutely. Hamlet Thompson, thank you for the super chat donation, man. But you didn't ask a question, but thank you. Andrew Smith, super stoned during the live stream. Let's go. Well, we're going, man. Keep going too. I don't want you to be able to stand or walk by the end of it. Steve Goldie, thoughts on A Few Good Men. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Isn't that the truth? I mean, I watched it once. I liked it. I think Jack Nicholson in any movie elevates it. Tom Cruise is always good. I like the movie overall, but I did watch it once. I don't think it has a lot of rewatchability, but I enjoyed it the one time I did watch it. Gavin Robinson just saw Interstellar, then watched your review on it. I was wondering if you ever bumped it up to an A+. No, I did not. I probably bumped it down even further and further upon every rewatch I gave it. Don't get me started on Interstellar. Could be a 2-hour podcast or live stream, whatever you want it to be by itself. Do I want to go into it right now? I don't know if I want to bore you with it. I can just say the concept of Interstellar is phenomenal. Like, I love the concept. I love a sci-fi film where they go to other planets searching for life, or another planet to simply take little DNA bottles and plant them there and create life, whatever you want to do. But when it got to that bookshelf at the end, I just couldn't do it anymore, man. I couldn't do it. And then Casey Affleck's on Earth, just being a weirdo, just angry at everything. I'll just go to the next question before I go. I've talked about this extensively, I feel like, in other videos, but we'll keep going with the questions. G Money, Terminator Salvation, or RoboCop? What? How did you even compare the two? Now, are you talking about like RoboCop the reboot? But the original RoboCop, that was like my childhood. That's the kind of movie I grew up watching on beta tape. And if you don't know what beta tape is, that's sort of the other version of VHS that lost the media war. But oh yeah, RoboCop. Salvation was instantly forgettable. Though I did like Christian Bale as John Connor. I still liked that. This is John Connor. If you're hearing this, you are the resistance. I did like that. And I would buy that for $1. Alex, hey John, have you ever watched The Office? I think it's a great show. I do too. I watched it probably 4 times from start to beginning every season on Netflix. Dwight is, I feel like, a long lost uncle I never had that I always wanted. Yeah, I love The Office. The last like 2 or 3 seasons of The Office, I don't love so much, but like the first like half of the entire series, it's just perfection. Rod Thunderheart, excuse me, do you know when the Mongols ruled China? You've got to recognize that quote. No. Do I know when the Mongols ruled China? I don't. What is that even from? Now I'm looking it up. Oh, Bill and Ted 3. Oh, yes. My brain wasn't even on Bill and Ted 3. Okay. That is a good quote. Kind of makes you want to go to Walmart and just ask someone that. Speaking of Bill and Ted, did you guys like Bill and Ted Face the Music? Did you like it? It's like all these new movies are finally coming out, but each and every single one of them I'm sort of let down by. Like, I was watching Bill and Ted 3, and I remember watching it. I ordered a large pizza. I was ready to go, and I was like, oh, I'm going to relive my childhood now. And then it was just sort of like empty and soulless. And I don't know what it is, but with the majority of newer films, there's something with the color grading or the color timing, or maybe it's just the digital cameras that they're using, but they try to make them almost look so flat and soulless. Like, if you look at the new Bill and Ted film, look at the look of it, the color, compared to the 90s versions. It just, the vibrancy is completely gone, and it just looks like dead inside. And I was like, yeah. But then again, the script kind of echoed the same thing. Isaiah, why can I not say your name right now? Isaiah. Isaiah. By the way, speaking of Isaiah, the guy who used to own, I got a new phone number like 6 months ago, and the guy who ever had the phone number before me had the same name, and I still get spam messages about like dick pills. They're like, hey, Isaiah, do you want to max out your man meat and meet new women? Click this link for Viagra. I'm like, it sounds enticing, but I mean, like, I don't trust that. So anyway, that's a fun story. But anyway, Predators 2010 is so underrated. Your thoughts? Predators was okay. Actually, it wasn't. It was okay. Like, if you compare it to the Predator, which came out a couple years ago, which was one of the worst sequel movies I've ever seen in my entire life, Predators it had some good ideas. At least they they were fighting the predators out in the jungle, and they were sort of like mercenaries, and it sort of at least had the same vibe of the original. But yeah, I watched it maybe once in the theater, and I never had the urge to ever go back and rewatch it. But I know some people really enjoy it. Topher Grace was in the movie, and that doesn't help elevate any film. Just ask Spider-Man 3. My spider senses are tingling, if you know what I mean. Heath Bennett. Hey, John. Sending this all the way from Australia. Been watching for about 3 years, and I love your content, man. Just wanted to know, what do you think is your favorite sci-fi flick of all time? Mine is Blade Runner 2049. Okay. My favorite sci-fi film of all time. That's a tough one, because there's so many action films that have sci-fi in them. It's like, do you want a smart man sci-fi film, or do you want just action sci-fi? So if I was going to go action sci-fi, like T2 Judgment Day is technically action sci-fi. Aliens is like, I think if you want to go more of the sci-fi route, is like the pinnacle of like action sci-fi done perfectly. As far as like a smart man's thinking sci-fi film, I'll get back to you on that. I did like Moon when it first came out. I haven't watched that in a long time. I was hoping Interstellar would have been the ultimate sci-fi film ever made. Maybe my expectations were too high. Luke O'Neill. Oh, hi, John. Have you watched Lawrence of Arabia yet? Yes, but I have, I believe, the 4K version of it somewhere hiding, and I haven't watched that yet, and I want to. I believe someone told me the picture quality was the best ever. So yeah, I haven't watched it on 4K, if that's what you mean, but I have seen the original. I think we watched Lawrence of Arabia. I feel like I watched it in high school for some odd reason. Yeah. Rock Lee, is Jake Gyllenhaal the best actor working today? I'd say he's one of them. He's one of my favorite actors. I think Christian Bale is the best. Like, I think Christian Bale, maybe Gyllenhaal. Who else? Who else do I really like? I like DiCaprio. Yeah, those are three great actors working today. I wish Jack Nicholson would come back for one more movie, though. He's one of my favorite actors. But yeah, I'd say Gyllenhaal's one of my top picks, sure. The trailers and movies. Did you know that Casino Royale is on Netflix? Yes, I do. Indeed, I do. I watched part of it the other night, and after I watched the opening action sequence in Casino Royale, I almost feel completely like at peace and fulfilled. I'm like, that's what I needed. Now I can go on with my day. So phenomenal. I have the 4K of Casino Royale, and I have yet to watch it. It's still in the plastic. Jack Malloy. Hey, John, I don't know if you remember me because I haven't been watching a lot of your recent live streams, but I'm going to catch up on all of them soon. My question is, have you seen Legend starring Tom Hardy playing both the Cray twins? No, I have not. But I did watch, I think I watched 9 minutes of it. I watched Capone starring Tom Hardy. And what a fucking terrible movie that is. It's on Amazon Prime right now. If you have a sad life and it's Friday night, watch Capone on Amazon Prime. Listen, I love gangster films. I love the real life story of Al Capone. I think it's highly fascinating. I like Tom Hardy. But out of all the stories to tell, you're gonna tell the story of Capone when he's dying of syphilis, pooping his pants, forgetting everything, just hanging out in his mansion. That's the story. Not as crime mob boss days in Chicago or the time you went to Alcatraz prison for tax evasion. No, this is the story we're telling. I don't know. I hated it. But no, I have not seen the film you mentioned as well. Craig Thompson. Would you prefer, and by the way, Jack, thanks, I do remember you, man. Craig Thompson, would you prefer Boogie Nights or Zodiac? Why did you put both those together? Maybe because they sort of both take place in the 70s, I guess? I'm a huge fan of Boogie Nights. I love Boogie Nights. Roller Girl is my jam. Also, hey, Jack, I've been thinking a lot about my name lately, and every time I close my eyes, I see these bright, shiny neon letters, and they say Dirk Diggler. That was like a role only Mark Wahlberg could make so great and dramatic and funny at the same time. I'd go with Boogie Nights. I like Zodiac, not my favorite Fincher film. Fun story about Zodiac, which I've shared before, is the first time I went to see it in the theater. I got off work. I was in college at the time, and I worked a part-time job delivering pizzas until like 11 o'clock at night. And then I went to the midnight showing of Zodiac, and by the time we got there, like 45 minutes into the 3-hour movie, I just fell asleep in the theater. Like, it's not Zodiac's fault. My brain was mush by that point. So that's my memory of Zodiac. Then I went back and watched it again, and then I still never bought the Blu-ray because it was out of print for a while, and then it was like $100. But I like Zodiac, but I prefer Boogie Nights. Carter Lovejoy, give us your thoughts on the Spy Kid films. I grew up with the first one on VHS as a kid and wore the tape out of it. I don't think I've ever fully watched one of the Spy Kid movies. I think those sort of came out at a time where those were like the early 2000s. And by that time I was like maybe I was like late middle school going into high school. And those it just wasn't the right demographic for them probably at the time. So I never really watched them. I never watched those, or I don't know, Lava Girl and Shark Boy or Agent Cody Banks. Just tons of movies I never watch and I never will. And yeah, as far as wearing the VHS out, I can tell you I've done that on my VHS copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid. I loved that. The best thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on VHS was there was this commercial in the beginning, and it was for Pizza Hut, and it was these little kids playing baseball. It was like one of the best commercials ever made that always made me want to eat pizza. More so than the Ninja Turtles did. So, Joe Mama, I could see you interviewing guests, etc. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to interviewing. I don't know if I'd want to interview guests. I just like to have a guest on here to talk about stuff with. I'm too stupid to figure it out logistically for the software I use. I think I could do it, actually. I think I could do it. I've never been opposed to it. It's just I do these so impromptu. To schedule someone to come on here and hang out, I would do it, but I just haven't yet. Brian Kirschbaum, I just spent my last favorite dollars on this super chat. Why do I keep making such bad life decisions? You and me both, Brian. You and me both. But thank you, man. Much appreciated. As far as your terrible life decisions, I don't know. I've made many bad life decisions, but somehow, some way, it kind of got me where I am now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess life could always be worse. I could be shooting up heroin in a dumpster behind Walmart right now, and instead I'm here talking to you guys on Friday night. So, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes bad life decisions take you where you need to go. Not all of them, but some. Jordan, favorite character from The Boys? Homelander seems like an obvious pick for you. Why do you say that? Because he's a sociopath with superpowers? I don't know. Yeah, he is highly interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but in the first episode of season 2 of The Boys, actually, it's not a spoiler. It's just like one scene. It doesn't ruin the entire storyline of anything. I loved when there was like that new superhero training, and he's like a blind guy with super hearing, and he can do flips and all these things, and Homelander just punches him in the ear, and then he goes deaf, and then he's like, oh, he's just another fucking blind guy now. And I was like, that's a great character. Homelander, you're amazing. So yeah, he's probably my favorite character from the show. Matthew Bloodgood donated a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matthew. Much appreciated, man. You didn't ask a question, but thank you. Much appreciated. Hector the Chill Guy. Here's Johnny. Best detective movie besides Seven. Ooh. I mean, Zodiac's a detective film, more or less. I'm hoping the new Batman film will be a solid detective film that just happens to have Batman in it, which, ironically enough, has Seven vibes. Another detective film. You know, I don't know if it's my favorite, but off the top of my head, I would probably say Silence of the Lambs because Clarice Starling is essentially solving a crime or a mystery who the Buffalo Bill killer is. So I think that's one of the most intense, thrilling sort of detective stories that I really enjoy. And with all that said, it puts solution on the basket. It puts solution in the basket. It put it on. Okay, I'm going to take another drink of this. Epic movie tributes. Delete one movie from the MCU. Which one? I don't know. Where do you start with that? Iron Man 2, Thor 2. Those are probably be my top picks. It always irritated me that Iron Man could never get a great Iron Man movie after the first one. It always blew my melon that we could never truly get that great Iron Man film. But probably Thor 2. I think that's the most disposable film in the MCU. Yeah, I'd probably get rid of Thor 2. It's like the one I never want to go back and rewatch ever. Dark Elves, like who cares? Andrew Smith, 87 is your favorite number. 87 was a good year. I will say that. It's the year I was born. I believe it's the year Over the Top came out. Is it also the year Predator came out, I believe? Yeah. Did RoboCop come out in 87 as well? A damn good year. I like to think my parents conceived me when they were watching Over the Top in the movie theater. Well, I guess that wouldn't make any sense because, yeah, either way. I don't actually like to imagine that. Greg Z. Hey, John, have you watched any of the original Twilight Zone series? Just wondering. You're talking about the original, the black and white? Yeah, I watched a few episodes. To tell you which ones I specifically watch, I could not tell you. I remember the one where the guy is, he's in like an environment or a town and there's no one around. It's just him. And then the whole twist on it all, the whole twist in all of it, he's actually like in a deprivation chamber at a military base, and they're like hooking him up to some kind of test or experiment to see how people react in that situation. So that's the one I specifically remember, but anything else I do not. But I would like to go back and rewatch them. Honestly, if are they playing on anything like Netflix or somewhere? I'd like to go back and watch a few of the older episodes. Alex, which Keanu Reeves trilogy do you prefer, The Matrix or John Wick? Fuck. Well, I think The Matrix by far has the best movie. If you pick the two trilogies, the first Matrix was fucking perfect in every way. And the first John Wick was good, but compared to The Matrix was like a cultural phenomenon. So I'd go, damn, like John Wick 2 is enjoyable. I didn't really like John Wick 3. But Matrix 2 and 3, I could not watch. If you gave me, I don't know, $100 and said, John, go watch Matrix Revolutions right now, I would give you your money back. I couldn't watch that shit. I just couldn't watch it. Like, all this build up to mech robots shooting at a hole in the sky. That's what the build up. Like, how underwhelming. So I'd probably keep The Matrix just because the first one is in that trilogy. I wish they would have made 3 Point Break movies though. That would have been great. All right. Mark Wallace, you asked to star in the next Terminator movie, but your co-star is Melissa McCarthy. Do you say yes? Yes, I do. Because who the hell am I? I'm a shitty B-rate actor at best, and they're putting me in this movie. I'll take it. I'm not even an actor. I'm a singer and a dancer. Actually, I'm none of those things either. I'm a guy who makes YouTube videos at 9:30 at night where I talk to you guys. But yeah, yes, I don't care. I don't care who else is in the movie. I'll do it. But do I go? Maybe I'm the Terminator and I'm sent back in time to kill her. That could be cool. This is for Ghostbusters 2016. Age of the Keyboard Warrior. I ate 2 eggs, 5 pieces of chicken, and 2 grilled cheese sandwiches. Should I go to Wendy's tonight and order a triple on a pretzel bun? Too much? It's never too much. Don't let society dictate what you can and cannot do. You're an individual. Okay? It sounds delicious. I actually just went to McDonald's because I was feeling a little bit scummy earlier, and I wanted some cracked Donald's. I always get a double cheeseburger, a 6-piece nugget, 2 barbecue sauces, and a large Diet Coke. And sometimes when I eat it, I prefer to eat it in the parking lot of like an empty or a closed Dollar Tree, just to really set the mood. Nev, African Dad Mom. Hi, hey John. Why is Alien 3 so trash? I'm appalled by it. Some people like it. Some people like that movie. I have a friend who likes that movie. David Fincher directed that movie. I do not like that movie. I like the concept of the movie. I like how Sigourney Weaver shaved her head, and I thought that was really cool. But yeah, the overall, just like the execution, just like it falls flat. But if it was on, I could watch it. Like I could watch the movie. It's a watchable movie, but not a good movie, especially in comparison to the first two. But then you talk about like Alien 4. What? Michael Lay. Hey, John, I have not seen Agent Cody Banks, but do you agree Frankie Muniz is great in Malcolm in the Middle, which I'm currently rewatching? Yeah, I liked Malcolm in the Middle, especially when I was watching it in middle school. I thought it was great, and it spoke to me. And I liked the brother Reese, how he's kind of like a little asshole bully, but he's still like, if he had to, he stuck up for his brother. But the best thing out of Malcolm in the Middle is neither one of those things. It's Dewey. Dewey was a child actor who was comedic gold. Like, that kid was like a little psychopath. He almost felt like a live action version of Stewie if Stewie grew up to be like 10 years old or something. That was the vibe it gave me. But I always, like, no matter what Stewie did, or not Stewie, Dewey, Stewie and Dewey, see the connection? No matter what he did in that show, it was hilarious. It's still funny to me, just like that little kid with big ears. Fantastic. The trailers of movies. What's a movie that you love but will never watch again? Mine is A Clockwork Orange. That's not a bad one. Hey, I get it. There's a lot of Kubrick films and a lot of classic films that you probably watch once, but you never want to watch again. Like Bridge on the River Kwai is another one I liked, but probably couldn't watch it again. I'm trying to think of a movie I genuinely like. I really liked and maybe loved, but didn't want to watch it again. That's a tough one. What's another one? I'm searching my memory banks here. It's tough to say. Like, Platoon is another one that I liked, but I never want to go back and rewatch it again. So I'll go with Platoon. But I'm also a weirdo. There's a lot of movies that I love rewatching over and over again that many people say are like, oh, that's a one-watch movie. Like I'd never watch that again. But I go back and rewatch it all the time. Like Castaway. Everyone I talk to, they're like, yeah, Castaway was okay. I watched it once. I couldn't watch it again. I can watch Castaway once a week. I love that film. And by the way, I talked about it in my top 10 HBO Max movies you need to watch right now over on the Flick Pick channel. So go watch that video. All right. And I talk about opening Coconut. Scarly, hey, John. By the way, guys, when it comes to the questions, I'm answering everything right now. Just know I'm probably about 10 minutes behind where the question was asked. So I'm catching up as quick as I can. I just like to give you guys answers and responses that have some substance in them. So feel free to keep asking questions. I will get to them. Scarlett, hey John, I would like to see James Cameron shift his focus off the Avatar franchise and aim towards something more interesting. Would like to see him direct. What would you like to see him to direct other than Avatar? Okay. Yeah, it feels like such a waste of money, time, and resources. Like, I get maybe, like, it was to have 4 more Avatar sequels coming out. 4. So we're gonna have a total of 5. Is that necessary? Did we need 5 Avatar movies? I mean, I could understand if they wanted to make a sequel or maybe shoot the sequel back to back with the 3rd movie. So you have 2 more movies, but they're coming out sort of the same time and they were shot at the same time, which is what they're doing. But then you're getting another movie on top of that. So, are we getting 5 Avatar films or 4? Either way, it's too many. So what I like to see, I'd like to see, well, first of all, I would have loved to have seen James Cameron go back and do a proper Terminator sequel that was good, because we haven't had one of those since 1991. That's what I would have liked to have seen. But if James Cameron wanted to dive into another sci-fi film, an original story, whatever it is, that would have been great. I don't care what it is. That would have been pretty awesome. But that's not happening. So, and I love me some James Cameron. By the way, still waiting for True Lies to hit Blu-ray. Where's that at? Say what? Are you friends with any of your exes? No, I'm not. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. Taylor Goodwin, top Leo movie. Top Leo movie. One of my favorites is Catch Me If You Can. I think that's highly rewatchable, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Another one would be, I liked his performance in The Departed. I liked Leo and What's Eating Gilbert great. But I think my all-time favorite might be probably Catch Me If You Can. Yeah. Matthew Stewart, do you think 7 takes place in Gotham City? Well, 7 takes place in a city that's not named, not ever referenced, so it can take place anywhere. I like to think it does. Yeah, sure, that makes me feel good. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Sure, 7 takes place in Gotham City. I could live with that. But then you gotta beg the question: where the hell was Batman during that entire scenario? That's the question I have. Or maybe it was a prequel. Maybe it was before Batman actually was around. I don't know. Abinash Mohani, thoughts on Marty's comment on theme park movies? Thoughts on Marty's comment on theme park movies? Oh, yes. The Martin Scorsese reference to the MCU being like theme park movies, I guess. I mean, I think he gave like an extreme example to it. And I think he was a little off because some of them, yes, definitely. But, I would say like the last few Marvel films had heart and drama and a great storyline, and it connected all the dots, and you felt something emotionally. But I get what he's saying. But then again, if Martin Scorsese, if ever one director could get away with saying that, a man who's directed Taxi Driver, who I can't argue with him. I mean, the guy directed Taxi Driver, okay? Just about every movie compared to that's a theme park movie. But I think it was sort of a reach of a statement, sure. Mike's Movie Madness. Thoughts on the first Insidious? I honestly think it's one of the best modern horror movies and one that genuinely scared me. Or you said actually genuinely scary. There I am, just putting words into the sentence that do not exist. I loved Insidious, and I didn't watch Insidious when it first came out. I didn't watch Insidious for almost 2 years. I watched it maybe in 2012, or maybe I watched it 2013. And I don't know why. I don't know why I waited so long to watch it, but when I did, and you have that one scene with Redface pop up behind him at the kitchen table that sent chills down my spine and made me scared, and I slept with the light on that night with a butter knife under my pillow. Yeah, that Insidious is a damn good movie. The Conjuring is a damn good horror movie. Both those films are great. And I would say it's probably one of the actual scary, intense horror films, one of the best ones of the last easily 10 years. Maybe even more. I can't think of another horror film that actually scared the shit out of me more. Night King 01 tried to watch Tenet again minutes ago to see if my opinion changed. The movie got worse. When I saw the stream, I left after the car chase. Well, thanks, man. Much appreciated. It's not like you were going to hear anything they said. The best thing to do if you want to watch Tenet, don't go see it in a theater because you're not going to hear anything they say. What you need to do is just wait, buy it on Blu-ray, rent it on Blu-ray, whatever the hell you want to do. That way you can listen to, put the captions on and read what they're saying. And then the story might make more sense to you and you might be slightly more immersed into what's happening. That to me was a mind-blowing Nolan decision. Now he did it. It's not like the audio mix. It was like it's a mistake. We forgot to turn up the dialogue levels on the mix. That's not what happened. It was some kind of weird artistic choice by Nolan, and it almost felt like it was done on purpose to further confuse the audience in an already confusing, convoluted film. Because if you can't hear what they're saying, you don't really follow what they're doing. Thus, you're more confused. Maybe that was the stylistic choice behind that. I'm not quite sure, but I go back to the original prologue of The Dark Knight Rises. Now, originally, they released a sneak peek of the prologue of The Dark Knight Rises, and that's all you got. You got the 12-minute prologue in the theater, and it was a cool sneak peek, but that first outing of that prologue, Bane's voice was doing the exact same thing that they're doing in Tenet with the mix. His voice was so low and muffled under the score of the film that you could not hear it. Now realistically, the guy's wearing a mask, so it sort of makes sense, but there was a ton of complaints at the time. And then when it came out to the theatrical release of The Dark Knight Rises, and we got that prologue, well, guess what? Bane's voice changed. He elevated the audio. He took it from at the bottom of the mix. He put it all the way at the top to the point where it sounded ultra unrealistic, and his voice was almost overly imposing, but I liked that. I liked that. I did like that. I think that was a smart creative choice. But yeah, it's like this time around, the studios gave Nolan more creative control to do whatever he wanted, and he just got really indulgent. He's like, you know what? Remember that time I was going to lower the dialogue in my film so low you couldn't hear what they're saying? Well, guess what? I'm going to do it again. And I feel like that's what he did. And I would love, if someone ever has an interview with him, I'm hoping that someone asks him why he did that. I really want to understand. I want to know the logic or the reasoning behind it. Let's continue. Z White. Have you ever seen Ginger Snaps, 976 Evil, or XTRO? No, I have not, but I have eaten Ginger Snaps once. They were okay. They were slightly good. Probably wouldn't eat them again. But yes, I've never seen none of those films. Cameron donated $1. Hey, thanks, Cameron. Hey, John, have you ever seen the 1985 action-adventure comedy called Kings of Solomon's? Mine is basically Canon's version of Indiana Jones. Not sure about you, but I enjoyed the heck out of that movie. Kings of Solomon. I've heard of this, and I want to look it up right now, but it's not letting me do it. But I do want to look at. Hang on. I know I've heard of this. Let me look it up. Let's see what's it all about. I don't know what the hell this King of Solomon's Mines. Is this a sequel? Oh my gosh. It has a 5.3 in IMDb. It does look like a direct ripoff of Indiana Jones. The poster looks like it was made by a kid who's 9 years old who just learned how to do Photoshop. But I get it, man. Yeah, it does look like a straight knockoff of Indiana Jones. No, I haven't. I've never seen that shit, man. But yeah, I've never seen it. I kind of want to though. All right, the next one comes from Jack Malloy. Hey, John, do you like Parks and Recreation? Also, have you seen Empire of the Sun with young Christian Bale and the new 2067 trailer? I have not seen the new 2067 trailer. I have seen Empire of the Sun with Christian Bale. I saw it one time. It has Willem Dafoe in it, right? I don't know. It's definitely a movie I would never watch again. I remember watching it on DVD a long time ago because I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's directed by Steven Spielberg. And I was sort of trying to watch every Steven Spielberg movie. And I don't remember being that immersed into it. I'm sure it was well acted and sort of well directed, but I just don't remember being all that blown away by it. But the last time, that was probably in 2009 when I watched it. And as far as Parks and Recreation, yeah, I like Parks and Recreation. Amy Poehler's phenomenal. She's hilarious. And I do like it. The show takes place in Indiana. So I'm from Indiana, so I feel like it was a sort of a weird connection there. Matt, Lou, and Dowski, you watch Supernatural? If so, thoughts? If not, watch it, meow. Only CW show I'd ever watch. I never watched Supernatural. There's the fact, and plus it's on CW, it's hard for me to watch most CW shows. I'm not going to lie to you. I probably won't ever watch it, but I have heard good things about it. But yeah, just there's other shows I'd much rather watch and invest my time into. I still have I have one episode of The Kingdom. It's a series that came out like 6 years ago with Frank Grillo in it. Pretty good. I need to watch the last episode of that, but I've never seen Supernatural. Alex, favorite Will Ferrell movie? Mine would be Anchorman, and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is trash. Would you agree? Yeah, you should watch my last live stream. I think I went on a tangent about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for like 6 minutes. Was that the live stream or the podcast, or was that a Patreon Q&A video? It was one of the three. But yeah, I don't like it. I have a review on YouTube as well if you want to go watch that. But Anchorman, I like Anchorman. Don't love it as much as some people. When it comes to Will Ferrell movies, I don't know. I have a special place in my heart for Night at the Roxbury. Old School, I liked his role in there as Tank, Frank the Tank. What's another one? It's not one of my favorites, but it just some of the lines he gives makes me laugh my ass off. What's the movie? I just forgot. Is it The Other? Yeah, it's The Other Guys. I was thinking of The Nice Guys. I'm like, that's not the movie. Yeah, in The Other Guys, where he plays a cop, but he used to be an ex-pimp, and he's like, Gatas bitches. You don't mess with Gatas bitches. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much. And Elf. Elf is an okay Christmas movie. I liked his role in that. Joshua Garrison, most underrated Batman villain. Most underrated, like from the comics or the movies? Now, if we're going to go with the movies, I'm going to go Danny DeVito's Penguin. That does not get the credit it deserves. Danny DeVito's Penguin he was spot on. He was perfect. He chewed up the scenery. I'm going to show him my French flipper trick. He was born to play that role. I mean, being 5'1" might help, or 4'11", however tall he is. That was a great villainous role from Danny DeVito in Returns. I'd go with that. Not enough people appreciate that as much as they feel as much as they should. Matthew Bloodgood, my last donation missed my question. Haha. Could you please check out my film Dylan and Terry? I could send you the Blu-ray with Sour Patch Kids. And whenever I open it back, I'm sorry, I'll look back down there and make sure I didn't miss your message. But yeah, man, when I open up a P.O. box again, go ahead and send it. I can't promise you when I will get around to watching it, but I can hold it up on camera and put it in my to-do pile of movies to get to. The Sour Patch Kids will help entice me. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, man, whenever I open up a P.O. box, send it, man. I'm curious to see it. Is it a feature length or is it a short film? And now I'm going to scroll down to try to find your question here in one moment, because now I feel bad about myself for not answering it. Lone Tiger. Dune will be awesome because of Hans Zimmer. Well, usually, yeah, his score elevates any film. It does play. It's almost like another character in the film. I can't imagine like the Batman films with the Hans Zimmer music. I just can't imagine it. But yeah, Dune looks good. I know the tone of the film, but it's still like it's like a monochromatic film where no one on the planet has any emotion. And that might be straight from the novel. All I can do is tell you the 1980s Dune film I did not like. David Lynch directed. But I am hoping that the new one is good, and I'm hoping it sticks to its release date of December. But I have this weird feeling they're gonna push it back. Balloon Raccoon. The more I watch 1917, the more I am impressed with the commitment of the extras on screen. 5 seconds of fame, but fully invested. Yeah, I mean the thing about 1917, that was a technical masterpiece, man. Like the one take tracking shots in there were mind blowing, especially the ending one. But oddly enough, 1917 to me it's sort of one of those movies that's a good answer to a question that was asked earlier about a movie that you really liked but don't have any urge to rewatch it again. And I don't know, maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't have an urge to rewatch 1917. I feel like I went on the journey, I saw everything, and there's not one thing in particular I want to go back and revisit. You know, when it comes to war movies, like give me Saving Private Ryan, I can rewatch it all the time. But 1917, it was really fun to watch the one time, but I don't have this desire to go back and to rewatch it again. Unhip Sleet Productions. Hey, John, have you seen... I'm sorry. Hey, John, I've been a fan since 2014. We did kind of grow up together. How often do you still watch the Nolan Batman movies? Thank you for everything you do. Well, thank you for watching since 2014. 6 long, grueling years of just looking at my stupid fucking face on YouTube. But I do appreciate it, man, more than you'll ever know. How often do I go back and watch the Nolan Batman movies? Pretty much anytime they're on. If I come across it on Netflix or whatever, I probably will watch it. At some point. So whenever it conveniently comes across something, now to physically go take one of the 4K movies and put it in, that's sort of a big commitment. And I'm not opposed to doing it, but yeah, typically whenever it's on like Netflix or something, I'll watch it. I have to watch it. I would say Batman Begins is probably the most rewatched movie I've ever watched. Like I remember watching that on DVD every week. Leading up to The Dark Knight. All right, let's go to the next one. John Gomez. John, have you seen The Man from Earth? Great indie sci-fi film about an immortal man confessing to his friend and telling his story. The Man from Earth. No, I have not. The Man from Earth. Is it? You said it's like an indie film? Let's see. The Man from Earth came out in 1998. Oh, no, that's a lie. The Man from Earth is a 2007 American drama science fiction film. Production, early age. Okay. Sounds intriguing. Okay. I've seen this poster before. Okay, I'll check it out, man. I queued up the movie trailer to watch later. All right. Now I'll check it out. Thanks for the recommendation. Joshua Garrison. Have you watched the Dark Side of the Ring series? Yes, Joshua, I have. I watched most of them. I'm a huge fan of like professional wrestling, but more so the behind the scenes is what I really am a fan of. I love the drama, the personal life stories, the things that went on. And I find that highly fascinating. And I wish we got like more movies in Hollywood that maybe focused on that. But yeah, I have watched the majority of the series and some really good stuff. And I listen to all the podcasts. Listen to Jim Cornette's podcast is hilarious if you're a fan of wrestling, or at least old wrestling. Scarly, should Michael Keaton stick to his rubber suit in the Flash movie, or should he have an upgrade? Also, Tim Burton should be involved in some way. Well, I mean, does Tim Burton need to be in? Why? Why does Tim Burton need to be involved? I don't think Tim Burton needs to be involved, and he probably wouldn't want to be involved. I definitely don't think he needs to be involved, as long as they just kind of keep the tone. Now, as far as the suit goes, well, it depends. I mean, we might catch up. We're going to catch up with an older, retired Batman, probably played by Michael Keaton. So we'll probably see the suit and the Batcave or something in the background hanging up. But if you put that on, that'd be awesome as well. Or maybe he's still Batman. Maybe he's an older Batman by this point, still fighting crime in Gotham. That would be pretty damn good too. And if that's the case, yeah, I think the suit from 1989 to now might need a slight upgrade. Maybe he's no longer wearing Nike shoes. By the way, yeah, if you didn't know, in the original Batman film, he's actually wearing a pair of Nike tennis shoes that are all black. But yeah, I think an upgrade, but don't stray too far from that original Batman suit. Like, keep the big ears, keep everything kind of similar to how it was. But yeah, maybe upgrade it. But I still think he's going to be a retired version of Batman. So that alone though is like something you never thought you would see. All right, scrolling back down here, looking for an older question, and unfortunately, I can only go so far. All right, I'll keep going here. Scarly, should Michael Keaton... All right, I just read that. I'm sorry. Let's get... All right, Matt Lewandowski... where are you from in Indiana? I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is the northeastern part of Indiana. I'm from a small town in northwest Indiana called Wheatfield. Then lived in Indy for 10 years. Now I'm 32 and live in Dallas. Well, cool, man. Yeah, been to Indy multiple times. Never been to Dallas, but yeah. And now I live in Columbus, Ohio. So if you live in Columbus, Ohio, let me know. Unhip Sleet. Hey, John, what are your thoughts on The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise? I think it's a phenomenal and underrated film, just like Apocalypto. Well, Apocalypto is a truly underrated film that not enough people have seen, directed by Mel Gibson. One of the best films. He's probably my personal favorite Mel Gibson directed film. But Apocalypto, man, you want to talk about a movie that you don't even need to read the subtitles to get immersed into and just understand what the characters are doing because their actions speak. And I did that once. Quick story. I remember they showed Apocalypto on Amazon Prime a few months ago, and it was all screwed up. Like the stream, something with the subtitles were like delayed by 5 minutes for some odd reason. Amazon Prime, it's just, they always screw things up when it comes to like streaming movies and stuff. But anyway, I watched the movie without subtitles, and it was still like, I still comprehended everything happening. So I love me some Apocalypto. As far as The Last Samurai, I like it. I like the time period that it's in. I like Tom Cruise in the movie. It's a movie I watched once or twice. Not one of my favorite movies, but I do enjoy it. 1901. Saw in IMAX with my brother. $45 I won't get back. Saw in IMAX with my brother. $45 I won't get back. Are you talking about Saw? Like you saw watching Saw in IMAX? Or are you talking about another movie you just saw in IMAX, like Tenet? I can't imagine watching a Saw movie in IMAX. It seems like a waste of IMAX, but excuse me. the energy drink is coming back out. Yeah, I watched Tenet in Dolby Digital, which is actually slightly superior to IMAX in my opinion. Like if you see a real IMAX screening, like a true IMAX screening where the screen's 5 stories high, not one of the LIMAX screenings, Dolby Digital is where it's at, man. The audio in Dolby Digital theaters it makes your seat rattle. It feels like you're on some kind of Universal Studios tour ride or something. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had when it comes to like a visual, but also it was bittersweet because I watched Tenet and all the music sounded great, but the dialogue just, once again, it just was non-existent in the entire movie. Do you do cocaine for these live streams? No, I just the energy drinks, man. That's all I do. What I do when I do videos or live streams, I just save all of my energy. All of the energy that I had that day goes to 2 hours. It goes to you guys. You guys get the most energetic version of me. And then when I'm done with these live streams, I turn off the camera, I collapse sideways, I lay there in the fetal position in a comatose state for 9 hours, and then I wake up in my own urine. And then I do it all over again. Top Gun 2 was shot with IMAX cameras. Indeed it was. And that's why I'm excited to see that shit. And once again, Top Gun was supposed to come out in the summer. Then it was delayed to Christmas. Now it's coming out next year. And hopefully it comes out next year. So yeah, I can't wait to check it out. Do you guys ever notice in Top Gun though? You guys want to talk about Top Gun for a moment and the way that every character in that movie profusely sweats? Would you like to talk about that? Because I know I would. Hang on. So, fun story. The reason everyone's profusely sweating in Top Gun was because they felt they needed to make the movie more sexy. That's the truth. They wanted to make the movie sexier, so they had everyone just sweating. Just Tom Cruise sweaty in every scene. Even if that room had air conditioning, Tom Cruise is sweating. So there's a quick flick fact for you about Top Gun. Nev African Dad Mom, hey, hey, do you like the legend Humphrey Bogart? Sure, I guess Humphrey Bogart was good. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Humphrey Bogart movies, but if you'd like me to go through his filmography, I can. Let's go through a few of them. I mean, he was a great classic actor. Did some great film noir. There's just something about the look of that man that was a man. I wish I was a man like that. You know what else I wish? In the by the way, Casablanca is probably, the best movie he's ever been in. Like the African Queen, I've never seen. Sabrina, Dark Passage, I've never seen. Casablanca, I have seen. But there's something about the style of the 50s where a man could wear like a long jacket and a hat. That just looks so cool. I wish we could do that still nowadays. I don't know. I feel like I was born in the wrong decade or the wrong era. Then again, I should have been born in the 1980s and I would have been Johnny from the Karate Kid. Night King 01, I just answered that question. All right, let's keep going. Iceman killed Goose. That's maybe not. Well, that's one way to look at it. It comes from Rob K. I'm trying to. Come on, chat. Let's go. This one comes from Joshua Garrison. Do you ever listen to Chris Jericho's podcast? Yeah, I do. I listen to a lot of the podcasts. His, not specifically, not lately, but I used to listen to it all the time. I usually listen to Something to Wrestle With or Grilling JR when it comes to like wrestling podcasts. Do you want to see Saw 9 2021? You're talking about Spiral, right? The new Chris Rock Saw movie. I do want to see that. That looks. I'm intrigued by that. Have you seen Tommy Boy? Yes. Who the hell hasn't seen Tommy Boy? I remember watching Tommy Boy all the time, over and over on HBO as a kid. It played probably every day in HBO, and I watched it over and over. It's like my little pet. I take it and I go, "You're naughty, you're naughty," and he rips it apart. That's my favorite scene on Tommy Boy, where he has the muffin and he's describing how he fucks up sales pitches every time. That's so great. Hang on, guys. Obed Arzaga just saw the trailer for the new Fast and Furious. Looks awful. You just now saw the trailer for the new Fast and Furious. That F and F is Fast and Furious, right? Is there something am I missing something here? Because yeah, it's always looked awful. Maybe they're showing the trailer again. Did you go to the theater and see the trailer or something when they were showing it before the movie? But yeah, with just the part where like they're driving the car and it clips onto the rope and they swing across the bridge and it's just like, what? I don't care. I wish that rope would break and it would just end. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the Fast and Furious franchise anymore. For me, Fast 5 was a nice blend between everyone being a superhero in the Fast and Furious franchise and still sort of being like a grounded, enjoyable movie. And then after that, it just got too bombastic. Jamboree Gomez, what do you think about the 2007 Speed Racer movie? I watched that once. It was hard to get through. I really did not like it. I think a lot of people do like it, though. They say, it does a good job as far as like a live action Speed Racer goes. And that was directed by was that directed by the Wachowskis? Right? It was directed by the Wachowskis, or they produced it. I'm pretty sure they directed that, didn't they? Or maybe they didn't. I didn't like it. I did not like it. And by the way, speaking of the Wachowskis, they produced V for Vendetta. That's getting a 4K release, which I'm really excited about. That's an underrated superhero flick or comic book movie. Colin, hey John, is YouTube your full-time job or do you do something else on the side? Just curious, as how do you afford your setup and Blu-rays and your TV? Yeah, YouTube's pretty much it. Now, over the years, I've always done little side things. Like I did like a reselling thing on Amazon for a while. I did that sort of, kind of. But yeah, YouTube is more or less my full-time thing. I've been since 2014 probably. And the way I do it is just, I try to do sponsorships. And you guys help out a lot with like the live streams and Patreon and things like that. That helps. But yeah, it's my full-time thing, man. And the thing about YouTube, the cool thing that's helpful with YouTube is when you've been doing it so long for 10 years, it's been 10 years. This October will be 10 years. And I do want to do maybe a special live stream. And also I want to do like a special video since it's been 10 years on YouTube, but in October, you build up a catalog of videos. So all those old videos I did are still, earning pennies and $1 here and $1 there, and it does add up. So, Unship Sleep Productions watched Ferris Bueller again tonight. Man, that movie is just perfect. It's up there with Stand By Me and Dazed and Confused. What do you think? I've always enjoyed Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It might be. Is it my favorite John Hughes movie? No, that would probably go to Home Alone. Well, I mean, it's not directed by John Hughes, but written by. Ferris Bueller might be my favorite 80s John Hughes movie. I could say that. Yeah, and I relate to it. The way that Ferris Bueller thinks and his whole ideology on life and like, why go waste your day in school when you can go out in the town, have a life adventure happening, steal your friend's car, go to the top of the Sears Tower. Yeah, man, which is now called the Willis Tower. But yeah, just phenomenal. Just like, it speaks to me. That is a movie that speaks to me and made me want to skip school. And I did. Many times I ditched school. Many times. Fun story. We just talked about V for Vendetta. I actually remember one day, me and my friend both skipped school. And we went to see V from Vendetta at the movie theater on like a Friday at like 1:00 in the afternoon. Good times. Good times. Hector the Chill Guy. Hey, John. What cameo surprised you? What cameo surprised you the most? For me, it was when Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder and Jonah Hill in Django Unchained. Both are good. Hang on. Let me take a drink of this here. Yeah, fun story. I have two things to say about Tropic Thunder. When I first watched the trailer for Tropic Thunder back in 2000, it came out, like, the movie came out 07, but the trailer came out maybe 06. When I saw Robert Downey Jr. in the movie, I'm a dude playing a dude. Who's another dude? I didn't know that was Robert Downey Jr. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought that was a black guy. I thought that was a black actor that I was like, I don't know who that is, but it looks familiar. That's the truth. That when I saw the quick trailer in the theater. And that was before I was super hardcore into movies, I guess you could say. I've always liked movies, but that's before I started looking at them a little bit different. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But yeah, Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. I like when Tom Cruise just lets go. I liked Jonah Hill in Django Unchained. I don't think that was one of the best cameo scenes ever. I'm trying to think of some other cameo scenes. It's so hard to answer some of these questions off the top of your head. It really is. I'm trying to get a few. I hate Google. Why can't Google just read my mind by this point? Yeah, I'm trying to think of a great cameo scene. Come on. I'm looking. Best movie cameo scenes. I didn't even look yet. I know. I was trying to dig in my brain and deep down. The Bill Murray scene in Zombieland. That was the best, most surprising cameo scene. That was perfect. So I would say Bill Murray in Zombieland. A lot of questions, and you guys are awesome. I'm trying to catch up here. It's me, Andy. Mona or Frozen, which is better? Not the biggest fan of either of those. I think Frozen was a little bit more pivotal to like pulp culture, though I don't love the movie or even really like it. Mona, I sort of watched once, but I wasn't that engaged. I would say Frozen just because it has the catchier songs. And also, the best thing that ever came out of Frozen was the song Let It Go, but not the actual song. I remember finding a metal remix of Frozen on YouTube. This guy's like playing it with a guitar, and it sounds awesome and badass. It's pretty cool. Taylor Goodwin. Say 2 mice in a bucket of cream in your best Christopher Walken voice. Been watching you since like 2010. Well, thanks, man. Much appreciated. And that means a lot. It really does. I mean, that's like a decade together. You know, 2 mice fell in a bucket of cream. They tried to get out so hard, they turned that cream into butter and walked out. Is that good? I know it's not the best, but that's as good as you're going to get. John Gomez. Who would you rather have as a getaway driver? Ryan Gosling's Drive or Baby Driver, soundtrack included? Probably Ryan Gosling's Drive, because I personally, some of the songs that Baby Driver listened to weren't music that I would listen to personally when I'm like doing a getaway drive. Like some of the stuff he listened to was like a little too, kind of like too upbeat, I guess. I'd be listening to like Rammstein or like Metallica, Master of Puppets, like heavy metal music driving, you know, or like fast techno German metal music or something. That's what I'd be listening to. So I would probably go with Ryan Gosling's Drive, because I think he might be the better driver. And also when it comes down to it, he's a bit more physically imposing and more violent. Like if I need the guy to, he's going to stomp someone's head in. And Baby Driver, he's not going to do that. You know, he shies away from violence. So, Luis Contreras, thanks for the super chat, Luis. Much appreciated, man. But you didn't ask a question. But thanks. Balloon Raccoon, hey John, rank these from 1 to 4. The King, or I'm sorry, not the King. The Ring, The Grudge, What Lies Beneath, the others. I'd probably put What Lies Beneath for the others 3, The Grudge 2, and the Ring 1 because I love The Ring. Are you talking about the original Japanese Ring? Or are you talking about the remake of The Ring? Which I loved the remake of The Ring. I remember watching that in the theater and just being like, just the vibe and the tone was so immersive in The Ring. Like, it was atmospheric, right? And I liked that. It was all rainy and gloomy, and I just remember the first scene where the mother, or they find the little girl or the teenage girl in the closet, and they open the door, and her face is like, that was like, whoa. I just remember being on edge, and that was a really good movie, and that was almost 20 years ago. That's crazy. Now The Ring 2 sucks, but yeah, I'd go with The Ring as my favorite on there. Tom Hernandez, any advice for teenagers working in retail? Depending on what you do, dude, I don't know. It sucks. I worked in retail as a teenager. I worked at a clothing store in the mall called Hollister as a teenager, and they made you, they're like, you have to wear jeans from Hollister and flip-flops and wear our t-shirts. And I was just like, and I stood around all day folding clothes, but sort of doing a half-assed job. What I would do is I'd take a shirt and just roll it over on top of itself. And then on the very top of the pile, I'd actually fold the shirt really good and put it on there. So it looked good from a distance. Then they fired me. Why? But yeah, just either find a different job. Here's what I recommend. If you can, well, I guess 2020 sucks. This might not be the best advice. But for me, the best job I ever had in college was being a pizza delivery driver. It gives you the freedom. You get all the free pizza you want, or as much as you can steal or sneak into your car when no one's looking. And it's just fun. You drive around. It's like you get some adrenaline rushes every time you go into a neighborhood where you think they're going to rob you or kill you. That's always enjoyable to some extent. Or you go to like a meth head motel. But yeah, being a pizza delivery driver was a fun job. So if you work in retail, try to find something else to do. Dan Peters, I like to watch movies with subtitles on. I can hear just fine, but I think it helps with more complex movies. Do you ever do this? Dan, typically not. Something about the titles, the subtitles being on, I feel like get in the way of the visual immersive experience to me. So typically not, but I've known people who do that. And I remember watching a few movies with a person who always did that. And I didn't care. I was over at their house and I was like, whatever you want to do, it's your fucking TV, you know? And I did. I remember watching Gravity with the subtitles on. And you do make a point, though. There is something about, sometimes when you hear a movie or you hear some dialogue, you instantly sort of just forget because you're just watching it and you're going through the motions of the movie. But with the subtitles on, you really like read what they're saying, and it really sort of goes into your brain a little bit more, and you can pick up on little details you might have missed. So I do get what you're saying, but typically I do not. Mr. Smiles Cam, do you play PC games? Thoughts on the next gen of gaming? I do not play PC games. I don't think my PC could handle a new game, to be honest with you. It does okay with like editing and Photoshop, but as far as like playing a game, I think it might get a little laggy. I'd probably need a better PC. I was always more of a console guy. Yeah, I just, something about the console I like more. I like separation and things. Like when I go to my PC, I'm like, that's where I go to like work or do certain things. When I go to game, I want to have the console where I can sit in a chair and just click it on and not click through a menu and do all these other things with my mouse. I sort of want the controller in my hand. I just like the separate functionality of a console. But right now I don't really play any video games at all. I have a few friends who still do, but yeah, I haven't played games in a long time. I really haven't. I'm not opposed to it. It seems like such a process to get back into it. Like I have to go buy the $500 console, then I have to buy the game, then I have to get online and sign up for a new membership. And then I have to hear like a little kid screaming in my fucking ear as he's camping on the ground as I'm getting a perfect kill streak, and I run around a corner and a little kid's laying on his belly and he goes, bang, bang, got ya. And then I punch myself in the head, throw the controller against the window, I jump out of my window and I scream until the neighbors call the cops. So that's why I don't game anymore. It was too stressful and I broke too many controllers. I remember at one point, I was on like, I have broken a lot of controllers. I'm not proud of that, but I just did it. And I remember at one point, my one controller was wrapped with duct tape over both handles, and it was holding it together. And like two of the buttons on the controller didn't work, but it didn't matter because I didn't really need them. And I just remember at one point in my life looking down at that controller saying, "What have you become?" Claudio Rogajon, have you seen Shitty Bang Bang? Chitty Bang Bang. Why did I say Shitty Bang Bang? I don't think I have. Have I? 1968 Chitty Bang Bang? No, I have never seen that. I never saw it. I really haven't. There's another classic Disney film, or is this even a Disney film? It's a musical. Yeah, it's not a Disney. Okay, it's not a Disney film, but there's another classic film I've never seen, and it's I think it's a Disney film, and it's Darby O'Gill and the Little People, and it stars Sean Connery. I've never seen that, but I think I had the DVD at one point, and it looked really fascinating. Matthew Stewart, thoughts on The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey? I like The Cable Guy. I really do. I think it's sort of an underrated mid-90s movie with Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey. Yeah, a lot of movie references in there. I like the medieval fighting scene at the restaurant. That restaurant really exists. I've always wanted to go there. I never got a chance to go to it, and I'm hoping one day somehow I can go. But yeah, I always liked The Cable Guy. I like the scene where Matthew Broderick, he has the cable guy coming into his house, and he takes a shower, and then he comes back out, and like the cable guy placed his TV and his speakers right in the middle of the floor just to get the best visual and sound of the room. And I'm like, I understand that. 49ers fan, 1998. John, I have been watching you since early 2014, and I just want you to know, man, I have always loved your content. By the way, how many times have you moved? Laugh out loud. Well, I typically move at least every 3.5 days, as you guys know. How many times have I moved? I think on average, it's once a year. It's been once a year since 2012. So I think I've moved, let's see, I moved out of my parents' house into my first house. Then I moved into a second house, then a third house, then a townhouse, then another house, then an apartment, then another apartment, and now this townhouse. Have I moved 8 or 9 times? Oh my God. Oh God, fuck my life. Yeah, I think I moved 8 or 9 times. It's too many. But the thing is, you know, when you work from home, you kind of get that freedom that you can move, right? You know, I wasn't settled down. I didn't have kids, and I could do it. And I was always sort of like, well, I'll go where the wind takes me. So that's why I moved so many times, and for other reasons as well. But you know, it was just a new experience every time. And there was a few times where I moved where I knew it would be temporary. Like I knew I was going to move a year after living there. So it was like sort of just a a temporary situation. But yeah, I moved a lot. Koki F. Do you watch Double Toasted? Thoughts on Corey Coleman? I do not watch Double Toasted, and I do not know who Corey Coleman is. I know who Corey Feldman is, but I don't know who Corey Coleman is. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question with more of a sufficient answer. Damn5271. I'm off work. Yes. Oh, hi, John. Well, hi, Damn5271. And I'm glad you're off work, man. It's time to party. And by party, I mean watch me do a live stream on Friday night. But if you have some frozen pizza, go make that shit right now, and it will be a party. Beatdown. Did you enjoy Shanghai Noon? I miss Jackie Chan's early 2000s buddy cop themed movies. Yeah, Shanghai Noon is sort of an underrated Jackie Chan flick with Owen Wilson. I liked it. I even liked Shanghai Nights. It's a terrible movie, but it's sort of entertaining to watch. It's just oddly fascinating to watch. It's bad, but it's fascinating. But yeah, I like Shanghai Noon. I like any movie that takes place in like the Wild West. It's just, even if it's a hokey or a comedy movie, something about it is just so immersive to me, and I like that. Scarly, by the way, if you want a good Jackie Chan movie, go watch Rumble in the Bronx right now. Scarly, I liked Nightcrawler, but I have no urge to rewatch it. American Psycho is more memorable in my opinion, but I'll have to give it another shot someday soon. That's fair enough. I've met many people who say that they would never watch Nightcrawler again, and I get it, but for me, and I say this all the time, it feels like a movie that was made for me. Like if I could go into my brain and somehow pull out the best movie idea, the best script, I feel like deep down inside it would have been like Nightcrawler. Like that's the movie I would want to make if I was ever going to make a serious film, for example. So it just spoke to me. It just had so many elements that I love about movies that not enough movies have in them. Just for example, I love films that take place in a city environment, but mostly at nighttime. Something about nighttime shots and sequences in films, it feels a little bit more visceral when you're watching it. And I love movies with sociopath, psycho characters in it, but also they're not completely psychotic. They have a level of normalcy about them, but underneath they're psychos. I like that as well. So just so many great tones in that film. Ex Slippery Sloth. Hey John, did you hear about the Wolfman movie coming out with Ryan Gosling? It's supposed to be in the time of Nightcrawler. Love you. I know. I think you said it's supposed to be reminiscent to Nightcrawler. Yeah, somebody actually asked that on the I feel like you asked that, or somebody else asked that on the last live stream. The same exact question. But I have heard about it. Like I said, Ryan Gosling, I think, can be a great sociopathic character who also turns into a wolf at some point in the movie when he gets angry. Like that's the other side of him. Which, okay, great. That's great. That's almost like perfect symbolism. It's like he's a normal guy, but when he's being a sociopath, well, now he's just furry, and that's a great blend for me. I like it. So yeah, it sounds great to me, and I think Ryan Gosling is a great casting choice for that movie. Obed Arzaga, thoughts on the movie Tiptoes? What the fuck is Tiptoes? What is Tiptoes? Oh, Tiptoes. Yes. This has the little people in it. Yeah, I watched the trailer for this. It's hilarious. Fucking hilarious. No, I've never watched Tiptoes all the way through, though. Unfortunately, I have not done it. Maybe one day when I get sad and lonely enough, I will watch it. But I kind of want to watch it now. But what if we did this? What if I just started watching Tiptoes and did a live stream of me watching Tiptoes for the next 90 minutes? Would you like to look at me watch that movie? I'm never going to do that, so don't worry. Claudio Rogajan. How is Shanghai Nights bad? I legitimately like it. It's entertaining. It's fluff. It's cheese. It's sort of a guilty pleasure, but it's sort of just like, I think it has a kind of a bad script when you look at it. So when I say bad, it's like a disposable movie is what I mean. Alex, my last super chat must have not gone through for some reason. Weird, but I asked, Uncut Gems or Good Time? Well, sorry about that, Alex. Let me scroll back down because I did not. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I see your previous question, Alex, but I do not see that one, but I will answer this question. Uncut Gems are good. I would say Good Time is a more enjoyable, rewatchable film of the two. I liked Uncut Gems. I really did, but I just can't watch a movie that's so frustrating and puts me on edge again and again because it just like makes me too tense. But a solid movie, but Good Time to me is much more enjoyable. And I like the story of it a little bit more. And I just think it's more enjoyable of a movie to look at. And I love the score of Good Time. It has like a synthy score to it. Really good stuff. And I can't wait to see what else they do down the road. Omar Bonaluz. Can't read. I'm sorry. Love your movie reviews, John. Hi from Mexico. Well, hi, Omar from America. I hope you're doing well down there, man. John Gomez. John, I remember you said you used to live in South Carolina in desperate need of fun places to visit. This place is so boring. Yeah, I lived in Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, other than some of the scenic nature hike trails that you can go on, it's really just the same shit everywhere else. I mean, for the most part, everywhere you go is more or less the same when you break it down, right? You have Walmart, you have McDonald's, you have parking lots. I mean, that's every city. I can't remember of a lot of big attractions in South Carolina that I ever really went to. So I'm sorry. But for me, I'm a man of simple taste, right? I enjoy going to Walmart's at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I can no longer do that because they close at 8:45. Or is it 8:40? They close at 8 now, which I hate. Yeah, Uncut Gems is one of those one-time watch movies. Yeah, it kind of is in a way. Are you looking forward to the Snake Eyes movie? I don't know how or why or if that's even coming out because originally it was supposed to come out in October. We haven't seen a trailer for the movie. We've seen nothing from the movie. Is it a real movie or was that some kind of like lie that the studio said for some odd reason? And out of all the things to do a spinoff movie on, you're doing a spinoff of a character that the last movie was from like 2013, G.I. Joe 2, that wasn't really that financially successful or praised critically, but now we're getting a spinoff character from a movie that came out like 6 years ago, or almost 7 years ago. I don't know, how did this happen? Like, what? So I'm sort of looking forward to it, but I have no hope for it whatsoever, and I don't even believe it's happening until we get an actual trailer for the movie. I'm reading the public questions here real quick. The Amazing Spider-Man 2012, or the Spider-Man 2012, or Amazing Spider-Man 2. Probably the first Amazing Spider-Man. The second one with Jamie Foxx. It's my birthday, Spider-Man. Want to blow up my candles? Like, what the fuck was that? Definitely the first one, the first Amazing Spider-Man. But I don't like either of them. I really don't. So, but the second one was just like the modern day Batman and Robin, without the enjoyment of being funny. Ryan Simi, hi John, big fan. How did it feel being back in the theater to see Tenet? I miss seeing movies, but I still am hesitant to head back to the theaters so soon. If everyone's wearing their mask and you're wearing their mask, there's almost little to no threat, in my opinion. if you're a healthy guy or whatever, you'll probably be just fine. It felt fine going back to the theater. It felt just normal. I'm okay. I survived. It doesn't make a lot of sense though. It's like we take all these precautions and everyone's so paranoid, and then you get to the movie theater and it's like you wear your mask and you go over to the soda dispenser. There's like a soda machine at my theater and you dispense your own soda. So you sit there and you push the buttons yourself. You touch everything and you put your drink in there, and it's just like you touch the same screen as everyone else, and then you go sit down. It's just like the logic sometimes is flawed for me. But my best recommendation to you is if you go to the movie theater, you pick a seat in the very back or with the highest elevation, because all those snot particles won't rise. They'll settle down lower. So you'll be safe up there in your little perch. That's what I always do. I sit in the back at the highest point in the theater. That way no one's behind me, coughing on me and all that shit. But every time I went, it was fine. Everyone was, I think, well behaved, and everyone seemed to wear their mask. Though the wearing the mask policy in the theater is sort of one of those things that they say to make you feel better. But really, it's the dumbest thing in existence, because when you go to the theater, you're allowed to take your mask off as you eat your concessions or chew on your popcorn or whatever. So if you're slowly eating popcorn for the whole movie, you essentially don't have to wear the mask. So it's one of those things. But I think, don't be scared, man. Go back. If you want to go back to the theater, I think you'll be just fine. Or wear a hazmat suit and go back, and I guarantee you'll be fine. Must-Tack Reviews. Random time. Thoughts on Pride and Prejudice 2005. I don't think I've seen Pride and Prejudice 2005. I don't think I've seen it, man. I did not watch Pride and Prejudice. I didn't watch it. Yeah, Keira Knightley. I never watched it. And I feel just fine about that. That's like one movie that I never watched. It might be great. I'm not going to watch it. I'm just not. I'm not going to watch it. The next one comes from Dylan Peter. Hey, John. Finally watched Catch Me If You Can for the first time. I liked it a lot, and I can't believe it's based on a true story. Is this your favorite Leo performance? Yeah, I just said earlier it probably was. And it is based on a true story, but some of it's a little bit indulged and for the sake of entertainment, portrayed a slightly different way. It's a little bit embellished, we'll say that. But yeah, overall, it is based on a true story, and it is phenomenal. It's great, and I just love it. I love con man movies. I love movies about smart criminals. They're just highly fascinating to me. I love bad guys that are intelligent, because they're always more fascinating, right? The flawed character is always the most interesting character for me. And yeah, Catch Me If You Can was great. And it kind of spoke to me a little bit. I feel like I've almost been there in my life. It's like, okay, my family's separating. I'm angry. I want to, run away from home. How do I do this? How do I make it happen financially? I know. I pretend to be an airline pilot and do a lot of forgery. Hey, I get it. I completely understand. Okay, this chat over here never updates. Liar, liar, or the cable guy. Ooh. I think the premise to the cable guy to me is more interesting, but Liar, liar is probably the easier to rewatch movie. I just love the scene in Liar, liar where he's in the bathroom and he's like, I'm kicking my own ass. I love that scene. It's the claw. Ah, so good. Which is the worst movie of 2020 even now? I don't know. I haven't watched it, but maybe Cuties. That might be the worst movie of 2020. I don't want to talk about it either. Please don't ask. There's not a big selection of movies in 2020. I can tell you this. In 2020, I do not have a movie that I absolutely love so far that's been released. yeah, I don't have that movie yet. I'm hoping by the end of 2020 I get that movie somehow, some way, but I don't have one I love. Is it weird? I'm really excited to watch the new film Greenland. I'm really excited to see that movie, which is supposed to come out in October, right? Like, I don't think it'll be that great of a movie, but the concept alone, like, I love movies about disaster, and some disaster films, like Roland Emmerich disaster movies, get way too bombastic for their own good. But like, this looks like a slightly realistic take on if meteorites or asteroids were hitting Earth, and I love that. I love that concept. So I'm hoping it's good. I have high hopes, but low expectations. Does that even make sense? Maybe it does. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Alex, I recently watched Pixels with Kevin James and Adam Sandler, and I thought it was utter trash. Nice visual effects, but everything else sucked. I also couldn't buy Kevin James as the president. You don't say, huh? Like, I just remember when he was the president in that movie, and there's like a scene where they're like throwing cake at each other and fucking somewhere, and then Peter Dinklage is in the movie. Oh God, what a fuck! Wow. I have a review for Pixels. You maybe go watch that. I need to go rewatch that because I forgot everything I said about it, but I hated that movie. I think that was the worst movie of the year for me, or in the top two. Yeah, I think that was the last time a studio was like, oh, okay, like maybe we shouldn't make movies this dumb anymore. Mustang reviews. Is it great? It is great. Have a soul, god damn it. It is great. Have a soul, god damn it. What is that from? I don't know what that's from. It sounds like a good quote though, but I don't know what it's from. Someone enlighten me. Have you ever watched True Detective Season 1? Do it. Yeah, dude, I've seen I love True Detective. Oh God, Matthew McConaughey, Woody Harrelson, the perfect chemistry on screen. I love True Detective. It was near perfect. I do have a few complaints about the final episode, just a few. True Detective Season 2 was terrible. True Detective Season 3, with I always forget his name. The guy playing Blade, who's going to play Blade. Season 3 was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Season 1, but it was definitely an improvement over Season 2. But yeah, as far as Season 1, oh my gosh. That one take shot where Matthew McConaughey is running around, that was phenomenal. I need to go back and rewatch it, but yeah, absolutely loved True Detective. More random time. Yay! Thoughts on Grease from Mustang Reviews. Mahershala Ali and Steven Dorff. Yes, Steven Dorff. You know, it's funny. Steven Dorff was in the first 98 Blade film as the villain, and now he's in True Detective Season 3 with the new guy playing Blade. Interesting how things work out, isn't it? All right. I just read don't worry, guys. I'm going to get to your questions. If you thought I missed it, I will go back and get it. Thoughts on Grease, by the way. It's okay. I don't know. It's John Travolta being a greaser. I never liked Grease that much, I guess. I mean, when it comes to like musicals and things along those lines, like I like me some Willy Wonka. If you want to go back to like a 70s, 80s, or 70s musical, but never a big fan of Grease. I don't know. It just passed me over, I suppose. Breathing Nerdum, been watching you for a number of years. My question for you is about Pirates of the Caribbean. To me, Davy Jones is severely underrated. Thoughts on him? I like Davy Jones. Yeah, I thought the character was good. I don't think he was underrated, but I did like him. Let me look up something. Davy Jones. Okay, I was making sure I didn't get something confused. Yeah. So yeah, Davy Jones with the squid tentacles. Yeah. By the way, the CG in that was amazing. Yeah, I thought he was a good villain. But the best thing from the Pirates of the Caribbean, especially Pirates of the Caribbean 2, the theme song by Hans Zimmer called it's like called the Kraken or something. Something about that song I love. Like I used to listen to that when I was in the gym. It was on my playlist. For some odd reason that made me feel strong. All right, guys. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take Oh, wait, hang on. I'm going to answer this question and take just a quick 2-minute break. So if you guys want to get a refill, go use the restroom, whatever you want to do. So yeah, let me answer this question here. Ryan 6000. Hey John, my brother and I are about to watch Ted. The first Ted with Mark Wahlberg. Well, hey, tell your brother I said hey. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely better than Ted 2, Thunder Buddy. All right, guys. So let me take a quick break. I'm going to get a refill on my drink and don't go anywhere. I'll be right back and I'm going to answer some questions that I guess I missed a few minutes ago. So I'll dive into those. So feel free to ask more questions and I'll start answering them when I come back. Okay. Enjoy looking at Arnold's face. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's do this. All right, this one comes from. I just had it pulled up here, and now it's gone. Okay, Jack Lame. Thoughts on Snyder's Dawn of the Dead versus the original? I liked the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead. I would say it's probably one of his better movies he's ever made. I overall liked it. I don't really have that many complaints with it. I like that they're all stuck in the mall. I thought it was well executed. I thought the characters were interesting. Ving Rhames in the movie was badass. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I just remember watching it in the theaters and really enjoyed it. I liked the opening scene where, and I always like when I watch movies like this where you have like normalcy and then just shit hits the fan and turns into chaos. Like, for example, the opening scene of that movie is just a normal day. Everyone goes to sleep. They wake up, and the next thing they know, their zombies are neighbors, and there's a little girl in their house trying to eat them. I always feel like every time I go to bed, I'm going to wake up the next day, and just there's going to be a disaster taking place. I don't know what it is, but that's for some odd reason it frightens me, but I also take comfort in it as well. Scarly asks thoughts on Mask of Zorro and also a possible crossover with Django Unchained in the same universe. I have heard about the Zorro possibly being with Django Unchained. That's a perfect match to me. I think Django is one of those characters that vibes well with like a buddy on an adventure, like with you had Christoph Waltz in Django. I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Django. As for you, unfortunate devils, yeah. So. I think having Zorro in a crossover with Django would be phenomenal. And Django Unchained is like my favorite Tarantino movie of all time. So absolutely. Please give it to me now. Ryman 6000. Hey, John, my brother and I. Oh, we just answered that. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. I had a few people say I missed their questions earlier, and I'm searching. I could not find them, so maybe ask the question again in the normal chat, and I'll try to search it out right now if you could. The Stranger in the Alps. Have you seen Bong Joon-ho's Memories of a Murder? I finally watched it last night, and it's one of his best. I have not. And when it comes to that guy as a director, there's a lot of films that he's made that I want to go back and watch and catch up on just based on how phenomenal he is. I mean, I like Snowpiercer. I loved Parasite. So that's definitely his catalog of films that he's done. I want to go back and revisit some of them. Anthony Moose. Oh, my God, you scared me. Well, I scare myself sometimes. Anthony says, I rewatched Scooby-Doo, and it was actually really fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's all I'll say. Joshua Garrison, has Tarantino made a bad film? I wouldn't say he's made a bad film, but the one Grindhouse flick that he made with Stuntman Mike, Death Proof, I would say is easily my least favorite of his films. I did not I tried to like it when I was watching it, but when it came to the Grindhouse flicks, the intermission trailers were the best thing about that entire thing. Like I remember the trailer for Thanksgiving, and it was like there was a dude on a table with a turkey baster in his ass. I was like, we were laughing hysterically. I was crying. It was so amazing. DJ Run 01, best singer's acting performance in a movie. Probably Eminem and 8 Mile, right? I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, it was sort of a biopic, but yeah, I thought he did okay. Ice Cube's performance in Anaconda. How's that? I'm lying. Yeah, or you could have David Bowie and The Labyrinth. But I would probably honestly. I know there's tons of them. No one please say Lady Gaga on A Star Is Born. Please don't say that. Yeah, I don't know. I'd go with Eminem and 8 Mile. I thought he did a really good job. All right. Thoughts on Halloween 3? I need to go back and rewatch Halloween 3. I have not watched that in a very long time. I mean, I remember a lot about it. I know that, Michael Myers is not in the film, and they were trying to do something different. And then they were like, well, maybe people want to see Michael Myers in a Halloween film. So I need to go back and rewatch it. I don't remember it being that great, but I do want to go back and rewatch it. Alex, worst villain, Topher Grace as Venom or Arnold as Mr. Freeze? Well, where do you start with that? I'm going to say Topher Grace as Venom. Arnold as Freeze, because Arnold is so charismatic and likable and has a screen presence, you can at least watch that and have a good time. And tonally, the movie was just a disaster. Tonally, to begin with, it was just this over-the-top, zany, stupid Batman film. So Mr. Freeze was at least enjoyable to look at and watch. But Topher Grace's Venom was vomit-inducing. It made me angry. He was terribly cast. He was terribly executed. The entire character was shoehorned into a script that did not need him to appease a studio who thought adding more villains to the film would help make more money. Just everything about that was terrible. And that was like, at the time, I believe Spider-Man 3 was the most expensive movie ever made up until that point. And there's just no excuse for how bad it was. Rohan Sinha, hey John, how was your Tenet experience? Is the review coming out soon? I'm trying. I promise. I'm trying. I will put it out. I feel like I've talked about it so much. I have nothing left to say at this point, but I will put it out. The experience was frustrating. The visual, the theater experience was fine, I guess. The movie itself was not. I remember being like an hour into the movie thinking, this didn't quite live up to expectations. So yeah, other than that, I was disappointed. But the theater experience, the Dolby Digital theater experience, was pretty good. Tom Hernandez. Hey John, thanks for answering my question. John, any advice on how to keep in touch with my high school friends for years to come? Also, thoughts on Dogma. If you want to keep in touch with your friends, I guess just be friends with them on Facebook. That's the best you can do. And for me, that's fulfilling enough. Sometimes there's people I went to high school with, and I'll click on their Facebook page for like 14 seconds. So I'm like, okay, that's what they're doing with their life. I'm fulfilled, and I go on. When it comes to high school, I mean, really, I'm only really good friends with maybe 2 or 3 people I went to high school with that I actually still talk to, and that's fine. That's all I need. That's all I want. So I mean, it just depends. Keep in touch. Go do things. Maybe once a month. Go hang out. Go eat. Go play putt-putt or something. I don't know. Josh Mason, thoughts on the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Film? It's a terrible film, but I do have fond memories of watching it in the theater as a kid. I remember me and my sister, when I was younger, we went to see that in the theater probably 2 times, maybe 3 times, because we loved Super Mario Bros. On SNES. That was like my life. And I remember watching the movie as a kid, and even as a kid, I remember thinking, this is not like the game. It's not good, but for some odd reason, I'll just watch it. It's just the way they bastardized that live action movie from the game. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, what is happening? It's like an alternate dimension that's all grungy and dirty, and like, the character of Toad, they all have the Super Troopers have little heads. It's just terrible. And John Leguizamo, what is this, a giant booger or something? I don't know what they were thinking when I think I watched a documentary on that film, and I remember they had reasonings for what what happened. Yeah, what's his? I forget his name. He was in Roger Rabbit. I always forget the actor's name. He said it was the worst film he's ever made. All right. Abhinash Mohotny. I rewatched The Irishman. I rewatched The Irishman most from last year. That's your most rewatched movie from last year? Yeah, for me, The Irishman that's sort of another one of those like one-time watch movies. Like I watched it in the theater. I liked it. Gave it a review. I went to rewatch it a while back on Netflix, and I watched like the first hour of it. And there's just something about it, like it doesn't drive me to continue watching the movie over and over again. And that's a odd thing when it comes to Scorsese films for me, because like movies like Wolf of Wall Street, Casino, The Departed, I can rewatch over and over. Taxi Driver, but The Irishman, something like it doesn't motivate you to want to watch it. I just something about it's just a little bit lackluster. Beloved Ruby, did you see Frozen Ground with Nicolas Cage and John Cusack? If so, what did you think? I don't think I ever saw it. I really don't. I know what you're talking about. I never got around to watching it. It was one of those times where Nicolas Cage was putting out one movie a week. And I've heard mixed things on it. I never got around to watching it. Scarly, thoughts on Insidious? I'm thinking of watching it tonight. Please stop me if it's bad. Yeah, we just talked about Insidious earlier. Yeah, go watch it. Go watch it right now. Stop looking at me and go watch it. It's that good. You will not be let down. It's fucking terrifying. Mustag reviews. Should I eat pasta, pumpkins, or oysters? What an odd selection of shit you're going to eat. What are you? Pumpkins or oysters? Who are you? Do you live in like a weird Tim Burton movie or something? What is this? Probably the pasta, I would say. That sounds the most appetizing. Colin, hey John, it's me. Do you watch other reviewers? Yes, I do. Occasionally. Not always, to be honest with you. To be honest, I'll be completely blunt with you guys. I don't like watching movie reviews on YouTube. I don't like it. I don't know why. I just don't. And it's sort of, I think that's the reason I don't make a lot of reviews. I'd rather have a discussion. I'd rather sort of have an organic conversation about the movie than stare at the camera. I don't know. But I do. I mean, I watch some of my friends' reviews, but it's my least desirable type of video to watch. Like I wish people would, and what I want to start doing more of is I want to do reviews, but I want to do them in a vlog style format. Like to me, that's more enjoyable. That's real. And something about that's the type of video I'd rather watch. That's the type of video I'd rather make. So yeah, I don't watch a ton of reviews. I roll ones. Do you watch King Arthur, Legend of the Sword? Thoughts? I think it's one of the most underrated movies in recent history. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. That's not the Clive Owen. That was just called King Arthur, right? King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. There's so many King Arthur movies, I can't keep it straight. Oh, the Guy Ritchie one? No. No, I didn't watch that. And I probably never will. I'm sorry. I'm glad you liked it, but something about most Guy Ritchie movies, they're all gloomy, and he does weird things with like the camera work in his movies. It's just, yeah, I didn't watch it. I did not watch this. I would like to watch a good, realistic King Arthur movie, though, like one that's very well crafted. Maybe not this. Something about this reminded me of the new Robin Hood movie with what's his face in it. What was the actor's name? He was in God, God, I can't think of what he was in. But the newest Robin Hood movie, that was a really bad movie. I like Robin Hood. I wish he would get a good movie. I still stand by Robin Hood Prince of Thieves is phenomenal. Kevin Costner, he didn't even attempt to do an English accent, but he was in the movie. And it was great. And Morgan Freeman was in the movie too. Alex asks, speaking of one watch movies, Dunkirk is one of those movies for me. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I'm really not. I watched Dunkirk in the theater, really liked it, and I probably would have put it in my top 10 of the year. And I went back to rewatch it on 4K Blu-ray. And yeah, I was like struggling to get through it. I'm like, it's fun to look at. I kind of care about some of these. Like, the only character I care about is Tom Hardy's fighter pilot character. Yeah, Kingsman. Yes, the kid that was in Kingsman starred in the new Robin Hood movie. Thank you. But yeah, you're right. Dunkirk's sort of, it doesn't have the most rewatchability, does it? That's the truth. That is the truth. But it's a great looking 4K Blu-ray, and I really enjoyed it the first time. Mustack Reviews. Do you know Harloff and Ellis? Would you do a Schmodown? Yes, I do. I do know them. I've been on their podcast back in 2012. I did the You Reviewers. We were on screen together. I met them back in 2012. I met both of them. I went to Ellis's apartment at the time. Jeremy Johns was there playing Mortal Kombat. I met both of them. Ellis is one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And I saw him, and then we went to his stand-up show in LA. So that was really cool. So I've met both of them. Would I do the Schmodown? Sure. Why not? Matt Jensen. Hey, John, what are your thoughts on the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford? It's good. It's good. Not one of my favorite Harrison Ford movies, but I enjoy it. I like Tommy Lee Jones in that film the most. And then The Fugitive 2 with Wesley Snipes, I always remember watching more. For some odd reason, it was always on HBO after school. And I always remember seeing that more than the first Fugitive. But it's iconic. The scene where he jumps out of the tunnel. It's always great. And Matt, thank you for the very generous Streamlabs donation, man. Thank you, Matt Jensen. Matt Jensen is pretty cool. Thanks for that, man. I wish I could give you a hug and a high five without a mask. That's how much I trust you. Thanks, man. Damn5271 is over the top on 4K. No, it unfortunately is not, and it needs to be immediately. It angers me, it saddens me, and I question as humanity, what are we doing when over the top's not on 4K in 2020? What the hell's happening right now? I need it. Maybe one day it will, because I want to see Stallone's vascularity and baby oil shine in 4K resolution. I deserve it, and so do you. Thoughts on The Weatherman? Not one of my favorite Nick Cage films. Joshua Garrison, should we petition to release Joe Exotic so he can compete against Carol Baskin in Dancing with the Stars? That would be fucking phenomenal, wouldn't it? Carol Baskin. That would be, if they could, well, he doesn't even, yeah, if they could just release him just to be on Dancing with the Stars, he's like wearing a jumpsuit and he dances with a tiger. Yeah, that could be pretty cool. Yeah, Taron Egerton. Yeah, that was the name. I could not, for some reason, I'm blanking out on names tonight. Thoughts on the best picture restrictions? That's a good question. That's very topical, and we can talk about that for a moment. I want you guys to chime in right now with the newest updated best picture restrictions and what they're doing. Now, for the most part, I get it. You know, diversity is great. There's nothing wrong with it. I understand. And some of the rules that they implemented aren't that hard to achieve. I do understand that as well. And many of the past best picture winners have had a very diverse group or cast, and that's great. And they won best picture. There's been some very diverse films that have won best picture, but not all films can meet all criteria for the sake of meeting all criteria. When you have a period piece, and logically within that story of reality, some of those elements that they're trying to force on the artist to put into their movie, sometimes that just doesn't work out in the story you want to tell. And you shouldn't be forced to make changes to a story or an original concept to appease people. I hate that. And when you start dictating what kind of art is acceptable art for an award show, I hate that. Whenever you start trying to control art, that's never a good thing. That to me, it's like everything great about art and expression and being able to present something, it's being lost. And I know it's like a small change, but it almost feels unnecessary when you already had a lot of diversity in past roles and nominations. So it just feels so forced. And I get what the Academy is doing. They're putting it in there to look like the good guys and to be politically correct and to appease people. I get it. That way down the road, if somehow the nominees for that year just coincidentally didn't have some of those elements, they're not going to be called racist. I get what they're doing, but at the same time, why can't the best movie just be the best movie, right? So here's what I say. Why don't you pick a diverse group of judges to dictate and choose and to pick what they believe is best picture? No matter what the movie is, let them dictate it and let the best picture be the best picture. Not because of other merits that are forced. So those are my quick thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. It's just one of those other things happening in society that just feels so forced. And but yeah, please share your thoughts. I'd like to know. And did you guys do that? Scarlett says, sorry, bro. I must have been messaging you when you talked about Insidious. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, no problem, man. Go watch Insidious right now. Go watch Insidious 1 and 2. 2 is not as good as 1, but it's still an enjoyable horror film. And then go watch The Conjuring. Jay Valenzola, John, did you see the girl in the spider's web? Fincher's movie was much better in my opinion. Did you see the girl in the spider's web? I mean, I've seen the girl with the dragon tattoo, the Fincher remake of the original films, and I loved the girl with the dragon tattoo. That was phenomenal. And the sequel, was that called The Girl in the Spider's Web? I did see the sequel to it. Yeah, okay. The Girl in the Spider's Web. Yeah, the sequel to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I hated that movie. So here was my problem with it. You had the Fincher film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which was dark, menacing, great mystery. Also relates to a question earlier, what kind of detective movies do you like? And that was one of them. I thought that was a perfect film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And then you had The Girl with the Spider's Web, and it felt like this, like that whole tone shifted into like an action movie. Like she's the best at doing everything for the sake of being the best. It was like, is she Jason Bourne or like this kind of gothy detective chick? I remember the one scene where there's a drawbridge and she wants to stop the bad guys. So she climbs up the drawbridge as they're chasing her and she rips open a panel and hacks it to do something. And I'm just like, you're not James Bond. How did you know how to hack into the hard wiring of a drawbridge all of a sudden as people are shooting at you? It just, so bad. Someone says, "Oh, the Oscars keep burying themselves into a deeper hole. Historical epics are doomed. They won't get nominated anymore." Yeah, it's true. Sometimes a story just doesn't have that diverse of a cast, and it's not because you're racist. It's just because it wasn't a diverse story to tell. So it's like such forced regulation. I hate it. Like, would Lord of the Rings be nominated based on those new regulations? I don't think it would. Girl with the Flick Pick tattoo is the next sequel. I can only hope so. I can only hope so. Harry Oxley, if they made a live action Family Guy movie, who would you cast? Well, like I said earlier, I mean, young Dewey from the early 2000s, Malcolm in the Middle, would have to be Stewie. Who could play Peter Griffin? I don't know. Like, are we talking about like a dream cast, or are we talking about like a realistic cast? I don't know. Who the hell could play Peter Griffin? Maybe like John Candy, if you could go back to the 1990s. I don't know. That's an interesting question, though. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer off the top of my head. I don't know who could play a live-action Peter Griffin. Like, Chris Farley could have played a live-action Peter Griffin, possibly, if he was still around. Are you okay, man? You're looking tired. Yeah, I've been talking for 2 fucking hours. Of course I'm tired. Yes. This drains the energy out of me, guys. Yeah, I'm a little tired, but who cares? That's for the weak and the innocent. John Goodman, maybe. Okay, I'll give you that. John Goodman could probably play Peter Griffin. Steven, finally watched Roadhouse. It was so much fun, and Patrick Swayze was perfect. And I'm not a fan of the best pick stuff, mainly because I'm worried about it becoming too much of the focus. I'm glad it doesn't have to be only the cast, at least. Well, fair enough points. Yeah, it frightens me too. As far as Roadhouse goes, what a phenomenal film everyone needs to at least watch one time in their life, about the best cooler in the biz who charges like $2,000 a night to be a bouncer at a shitty little club in the middle of nowhere. How could they afford to pay him that much money to be a bouncer? Like, he's a security guard, and they're going to pay him that much money. And he's still, the club still got destroyed every night. I don't know how they afford to buy new tables and chairs when they destroy them every single night. But yeah, I love Roadhouse more than I probably should. The best quote ever from a film is "Pain don't hurt," from Patrick Swayze, who plays Dalton. And then he rips a guy's throat out. Oh, so good. So good. DJ Run 01, first film and rated R film you will show your kids. Let me think about that for a moment. The first rated R film I need to show my kids. I don't know. The first movie they need to watch, maybe. I was going to give you a funny answer, but I want to try to give you a serious answer with that one. I think you got to start slow with kids. I want to introduce them to some of the classic Disney animated movies, and then work in Pixar films. And I want to really develop their taste into films so they grow up to be quality cinema lovers that enjoy and appreciate what real movies are. So I would probably start there. Really, what's going to happen is my kids are going to grow up with like the 1980s and 90s movies, and they're not even going to comprehend which decade they're in. Like, they're not going to even know newer films exist until they're like 15 years old. They're just going to grow up with like all the great films of the 80s and 90s. So probably that'll happen. But that's my biggest fear is I'm afraid I'll have stupid little kids who don't like movies. Like, that's a weird fear, isn't it? Like, what if you just had that kid who has no interest in movies? They're like, yeah, movies are okay. I'll just go watch it on my iPhone in bed. I'll go watch Taken 3. Like, I'm just hoping I don't have those kids. So I'm going to have to brainwash them into what quality cinema is when they're little. So I think that's what my dad did. Like, I remember my dad, he loved, like, action films and things along those lines. And he always recorded the movies on VHS off of HBO, and he would keep all of the movies in like a shoebox or whatever. And I remember just like always being bored and watching, like randomly picking up one of those movies and watching it. And I was like, ooh, Point Break. This is pretty cool. Or like The Warriors from the 1970s. I was like, this is a crazy movie, but that's the kind of stuff I grew up watching. Rohan Sinha. Hey, John, Netflix now has a playback speed option that blows my mind. Why would you do that? They have a playback speed option? Like you're saying you can play the film at like 2 times the speed or 5 times the speed? Yeah, I get, that's weird. I get like having a fast forward option, but a playback option. You know what it is? I think it's people with short attention spans that want to consume a movie but not actually watch a movie. So they'll put it on like 3 times the speed. They're like, yeah, I watched the movie, but you didn't really enjoy it. You just sort of watched it. That could be a possibility. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know why they would do that. Why does YouTube have that? Who knows? That is a bizarre feature, isn't it, though? Steven, finally watched Roadhouse. Oh, I already answered that. Okay. I already answered. Okay, good. Harry Oxley, if they made a live-action Family Guy movie, I already answered that as well. Okay. Claudio Rogajan, how is Shanghai Nights bad? I legitimately liked it. You asked that earlier, man, and I answered your question. I answered that earlier. I think you missed it. I said I liked it. It's sort of a guilty pleasure movie. I just, from a script standpoint, it's sort of a bad movie, but it's a stupid, dumb, fun, enjoyable movie. John, show your kids Point Break 2015 to traumatize them. No, and no. I will never do that. Ever. See, that's my biggest fear. Like, I'm afraid my kid would grow up and his first experience with Point Break would be the remake and think, oh, that's a bad movie. But then I have to shake him and say, no, we're going to go watch the 1991 Point Break movie. Watch this. Look how good it is. Or maybe the first movie I show my kids will be Roadhouse. That'll dictate their taste. Thoughts on the show Fargo? I never got around to watching the show Fargo. Love the movie. Oh, don't you know? I done told you it's not here. I've never seen the series Fargo, but I do love the Coen brother film Fargo. I could watch that right now. I could watch that and The Big Lebowski right now. Well, hey man, there's a beverage here. Tenet or Interstellar? Probably Interstellar. It was watchable. So probably Interstellar. Do you sneak booze or food into the theater? I sneak food all the time into the theater. There was one time I snuck a foot-long sub into the theater, and it just looked really suspicious. I'll say that. But I was hungry, and I needed to eat. I always sneak food. Booze, I've never been one of those guys who wants to go to the movie theater to drink with his friends. I just... Like, I'll save that for, like, I don't know, somewhere else. When I go to the theater, I want to enjoy the theater. Now, there's been many times where, like, a group of stupid teenagers have snuck booze into the theater, and you can hear them laughing and coughing and talking and, like, drinking the booze. They're like, look at me, I'm sneaking booze into the theater drinking. And it's like, I guess, man, go to your mom's basement and do that. But I've never done that. Now, I could understand doing that for, like, a terrible movie or, like, a really bad guilty pleasure movie. That might help make it mildly enjoyable. I actually, I do have one example of that, but it's not a very good one. I remember working at a movie theater, and there was this guy that worked there as well named Steve. And Steve was a fun guy. And he had like a bottle of Jack Daniels. And it was our break at the theater. So we went out into his car, and we were like taking shots of this Jack Daniels on our break. And then we went back to work, and like I had not eaten anything, so it really upset my stomach, and I felt like shit. And I just remember like I was a usher at the theater, so I had to go pick up everyone else's shit and popcorn spills. So I remember being drunk, cleaning up popcorn spills in a movie theater. So there's your story of booze in a movie theater. DJ Run 01, would you rather have an office job to watch Point Break remake and The Fantastic on repeat? Oh, would I rather have an office job or watch Point Break remake and Fantastic Four stick on repeat? I don't. It depends what the office job is. There's a few office jobs I wouldn't mind doing. It just depends what it is. Now, if I had to go back to the marketing job I used to work out in a cubicle all day, that would make me want to bash my head against the window. But I don't know. Probably the office job. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I just the Point Break remake would drain the life out of me, and I wouldn't get paid to watch it like I would at the office. So I don't. It just really depends. Ross Bristow, will you show your kids Hook 1991? Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. That'll be one of the pivotal childhood movies that they watch. I hate Peter Pan. Yes, absolutely. I want a cookie. I want a party. Me. I. Yes, my kids will watch Hook 1991. Claudio Rogajon. John, show your kids Rumble in the Bronx. It's rated R. That'd be fine by me. I will show my kids. See, the thing about rated R films for me is if it's not sexual rated R, I feel like a certain level of violence, especially in a film like Rumble in the Bronx, is acceptable. Like, it's a little bit over the top and fantastical at times. Like the fighting, it's like Jackie Chan's fighting style isn't ultra realistic or brutal. Though brutal things do happen in Rumble in the Bronx when they start hitting glass bottles with a baseball bat and he gets really cut up in an alleyway. But like, I feel like violence at a young age to that extent is fine. I really do. Yeah. As long as it's not like ultra realistic, weird violence, right? Like Silence of the Lambs violence or something. I don't know. Like I said, those are the movies I was raised on. I think it helped round me as a person, and I just don't want my kids to grow up to be overly sensitized and afraid of things and like sheltered. I don't want sheltered kids. That's my biggest fear. Hey you. Thoughts on Zodiac? I think it's underrated in my opinion. I feel like I always get the same questions throughout the stream. I get that I talk for 2.5 hours and you might have just joined the stream, but I literally have answered that question earlier and I even gave a backstory about it. But yeah, I like Zodiac. I recently just rewatched it again on Amazon Prime. Love it. Need to buy it on Blu-ray, and not one of my favorite Fincher films, but a damn good movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. And plus, as far as the Zodiac killer goes, the real life Zodiac killer goes, the whole story is very fascinating. And speaking of the Zodiac killer, doesn't Riddler in the Batman film sort of look like the Zodiac killer? I'm just going to say it was inspired. That's all I'm going to say. Scarly, why not switch to drinking beer rather than drinking energy drinks? Have a great night. I mean, if I started drinking, I'm afraid the things I say would get a little too odd and bizarre for their own good. But there have been a few times I've made YouTube videos where I did take a few drinks beforehand, and it does help kind of relax me a little bit. But the energy drinks are just, it's sort of a routine at this point. You know, it's when I make a video or I make a live stream, it's like I do the energy drink so I can keep up and be energetic for you guys. Because if I don't, I'll start rambling on and I'll start just like nodding off, and I don't want to do that. Breaking Nerdsum, have you watched Mindhunter? To me, it's awesome. Oh, dude, Mindhunter is one of the most underrated things of the last 5 years. Yes, if you like Fincher movies like Seven or anything along those lines, Mindhunter, the first episode was directed by Fincher, but it was the rest of the series was sort of produced by him. Yes, please go watch it right now. Mindhunter is like a series that I felt like was made for me because I'm all about like serial killers and the real life backstories on these things and time period things. So Mindhunter is about two FBI profilers who sort of develop their profile on serial killers by going and interviewing these guys in prison. And it's so fascinating, and some of the stories it's just so captivating to watch. I love it. And I love how it's intertwined with other real life serial killers like the BTK killer. And yeah, I love Mindhunter. Please go watch that, guys, if you haven't seen it. So underrated. And I know they want to do a season 3, but it's probably not going to happen, which I think is a crime against humanity. I hope they come out with a season 3 of Mindhunter. I need it. Like, one of the serial killers has a weird fascination with like women's shoes. It's great. Claudio Rogajan, when he comes home all cut up, scared me as a kid. Yeah, Jackie Chan and Rumble in the Bronx. Yeah, that was a little creepy when he just walks into the house all like cut up and bleeding profusely. Yeah. Also, the little kid in Rumble in the Bronx, what was his name? Danny or something like that. And he's handicapped, and they throw him off his wheelchair, and he's like, "No, my cushion." That's great. There's one scene in the movie where he's playing like his handheld Sega console. I used to have one of those, but I don't think it has a game in it. Like, he's playing it, but there's no game in it. There's no cartridge in it. It's hilarious. Alex, since you mentioned Bill Murray's cameo in Zombieland earlier, did you happen to see the sequel? I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty bad, Alex. I'm sorry. I was really looking forward to the sequel, and I would even say the first act of the sequel was fun, and then it just like goes into a really boring, bland storyline and ends at some hipster colony. And I was really not invested in it. And I was like, the jokes aren't that funny. The story's not that interesting. But I liked the first act of the movie. Just after that, I sort of lost interest. I don't know. Maybe it was a couple years way too late. All right, guys, how long have we been talking? Has it been 2 hours? Have we been talking for 2 hours and 40 minutes? How did that happen? Where am I right now? Okay, guys. So I'm going to answer. What I'm going to do is, if you guys have any more questions, any more really good, juicy questions that you feel like you need me to answer or talk about or discuss, get those all in right now. Get them all in. Type them, send them, whatever you want to do. And I will take them, whatever questions you can get in for like the next. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break because I have to go pee. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to take a quick break. During that break, get all the questions in you possibly can. And when the break's over, don't ask any more questions, and I will come back and answer all of those questions so I don't miss any. How's that, guys? Because I love you, and I don't want to miss a thing. I wish I could play the Aerosmith song from Armageddon right now. So let me take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Ask those glorious, magical, and mystical questions, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I hope you're back too. By the way, guys, I'm going to plug a few things. If you guys are a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter, which, by the way, I love you guys and I love all of you guys just for watching right now. I did just put up a brand new episode of the podcast, which you guys can listen to or watch, where we talked about every new movie that's come out and a whole bunch of other stuff, and I answer more questions in the podcast. So definitely check that out. It's a good time if you haven't. Also, I do a Q&A just for Patreon and YouTube members where you guys can submit even more questions, and I talk the shit out of those. So I put that video up. It's like an hour long. So if you are a supporter on either one of those, definitely go check them out. I just posted them last night. And the other cool thing is I always get questions about this. And I had an older version of this shirt, but now I have a newer one. Check this shit out. Look at it. I have to return some videotapes. So yeah, that's my new, I have to return some videotape shirt, which I designed. And if you guys want to get one, you don't have to. But if you want to look fucking cool like me, and you're slightly a sociopath who loves VHS, I have these at my Teespring store. The link is down below under all of my videos. Just click it, check it out. And if you do get one, tweet me a picture. I will share the shit out of it because that's the least I can do. Okay, guys, let's dive into the questions. So no more questions. Stop asking questions now, and I'll answer all the ones I have ready to go. Or else I'll be here till 6 o'clock in the morning, and, well, I don't have enough energy drinks to do that. All right. Where am I starting here? Okay, here we are. Chris Stuckman, but not the real Chris Stuckman. Second shelf, 20 from the right. And no, the podcast isn't with Stuckman anymore. It's with my friend Odin from Odin's Movie Blog. So, I'll tell you what. The movie collection's over there, but I'll pick the random movie down here beside me. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pick this random Blu-ray for you, which was right over here, that was just sent to me the other day by Warner Brothers, and I wanted to talk about it. I was kind of saving some new movies. I have an upcoming video where I'm going to talk about the Goonies. That'll be really cool. But yeah, so I have this 5-movie collection from Stephen King. It's on Blu-ray, which is really cool. Now, I haven't seen all of these. Like Silver Bullet, I've never seen. Pet Cemetery, of course, I've seen. The Pet Cemetery 2019 remake, which was really bland and forgettable for me. I don't think it was a terrible remake, but just like, it didn't feel necessary. I think I always sort of liked the Pet Sematary 2 was a guilty pleasure with Edward Furlong. I always sort of liked that. And The Stand, which I've never seen. I've never seen The Stand, so I'm excited to watch it. And Dead Zone, which I have seen. So that's cool. So that was your random Blu-ray there. DJ Run 01, best athlete's acting performance in a movie. Oh, it's got to be Shaquille O'Neal as Kazam, right? It's got to be. The rapping genie who rides a bicycle? That's got to be the best athlete's acting performance. Yeah, easily. No, in all seriousness, I don't know. I mean, a lot of them are so bad. I mean, one of the most iconic ones is Michael Jordan, who was in Space Jam, basically playing himself. So that wasn't much of a reach. That was probably one of the better ones because they didn't try too hard. I know there's got to be a few good ones out there, right? I mean, technically, The Rock was an athlete. He was a college football player and a WWE wrestler for many years, and he's done some okay movies. So we'll go with The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Claudia Rogajon. You and Chris do a hilariosity of Dukes of Hazzard film. It's my biggest guilty pleasure of all time. I know every single line. I know it's sad. That is a little bit sad, but that's okay. It's okay. I can't judge you for that. I mean, how does 50 yen a year sound? Or what does he say? How does 50,000 a year? What has the line go? How does 50,000 yen a year sound? Sounds like $50. Yeah, I remember that. You know the funny thing about the Dukes of Hazzard film from 2005? In high school, I wrote for the newspaper, and I actually did a 2-paragraph movie review of the Dukes of Hazzard for the newspaper. And I was like, I think I said something like, the movie's not good, but Jessica Alba is fun, or not Jessica, whatever her name is, was fun to look at. Like, whoa. So, but yeah, that's what I remember. But we all have our shitty guilty pleasure movies. Tom Hernandez, thoughts on American Pie series and HIMYM. I don't know what that's an abbreviation for. I'm sorry. That's too many letters. What does that stand for? Maybe I'm a moron. Someone help me. Thoughts on American Pie. I love American Pie. I like all of the American Pie. Not the spin-off movies, like where the band camp movies. But all the actual films I like. The first one's obviously the best. I like movies about high school kids hanging out. Like I've always liked movies like that. But the first one's the best, and I liked all of them after that. I really did. I don't think they're like the fourth one wasn't great, but it's still watchable. It still gives me some of the nostalgia, reminiscent vibes, the throwback vibes. So I like them. Night King 01. Remember in Rumble in the Bronx when Angelo goes to the park like a perv looking for the diamonds? Laugh out loud. Yeah. Yes, I do. I sort of remember that scene. I don't remember the details of him looking like a perv at the park. Yeah, I don't remember the details of that. I just remember the really bad dubbing in the movie, which for some odd reason just added so much character, in my opinion. That's what I really loved about the movie. And then Jackie Chan jumps on a hovercraft at the end of the movie. Oh, it's so good. I think I'm going to go watch Rumble in the Bronx after this. I have it on Blu-ray. I think I might watch Rumble in the Bronx. Scarly. Is it me or does Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse look like it needs to be watched with 3D glasses? Yeah, it kind of does. The way it's just the art style of it. They made it very bold and cut out looking, and yeah, I get what you're saying. It does look like you should have 3D glasses on. The other thing is, when I first watched Into the Spider-Verse, it definitely has a very unique frame rate, which I found jarring when I was watching it. It took 20 minutes of watching the movie to settle into it. Because it's 12 frames a second rather than 24 frames a second. But it was a unique stylistic approach to it. Would I prefer it not to do that? Maybe, but I do understand what you're saying. Shut Up Cat Productions. Thanks for the super chat, man, but you didn't ask a question, but thank you. Daniel Coolio. Hey, John, which superpower would you choose and why? Invisibility or teleportation? Both would be really... So you're saying I could teleport anywhere, anytime? Could I teleport to, I don't know, Boise, Idaho right now? Why would I go there? I don't know, but I could teleport there, or do I have Nightcrawler teleportation where I have to see where I'm going? That makes a big difference. The teleportation might be more useful. I think that might be a bit more useful. Invisibility would be really cool, but you still have to logistically get to places. You still have to get in a car and drive there. But teleportation would just be much more convenient. It's I'm going to teleport to Walmart right now and just take a whole bunch of shit and teleport back home. That sounds great. Because to even do criminal activities, if you were invisible, you still have to go to Best Buy, pick up the OLED TV and carry it out. And they're going to see a floating TV being carried out, and they're going to be like, oh, what's that all about? But if I could just teleport there and just take it, that sounds easier. I'm going to go with teleportation. Dan5271, just do it. Do it now. And Dan5271, thank you for the super chat, man. That you guys are too nice, too generous. I do mean that. I really do. Thank you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. I mean that. See, that's why someone asked a question earlier about like other YouTubers not doing live streams. And yeah, see, live streams are why I started YouTube. I love the interaction. I like talking to you guys on the fly. I don't want to have jump cuts and all that. Like, I just want to talk to you guys. It's like a conversation. It's just pure. It's just me, you, and a video camera in between. And that's why I do live streams. You know, I love doing it. So it's what keeps me going. I truly enjoy doing these. Doing live streams isn't work. Like doing a movie review and recording it for 2 hours and then editing it and spending all night doing it, and like that's work. But this is not. This is fun. As much if you guys enjoy watching these, I enjoy making these. So please don't ever leave me. If you do, I'll have nothing. All right, I'm gonna wait just a few seconds and make sure I didn't miss any questions. The Stranger in the Alps says, "Do it." I watch you and Jericho every Saturday. Well, thank you, Joshua Garrison. Thank you, Stranger in the Alps. And watch Larry Carr. Yeah, Jessica Simpson. Yeah, she vanished off the face of the earth, didn't she? Rohat, big fan from India. Well, isn't it crazy? It's like you live in India and you're looking at me right now. Isn't that crazy to anyone else? I think people take technology for granted, but thanks, man. Right back at you. How you doing? All right. Tom Hernandez, it's How I Met Your Mother. Laugh out loud. Good night. I don't know what that's in a reference. Oh, How I Met Your Mother, the abbreviation. Thank you. I watched a few episodes of it. I like Jason, what's his face? Jason, I forgot his last name. But I liked him in it. Neil Patrick Harris is in it, I guess. But yeah, I watched a few episodes. I was never a hardcore fan of it, so I can't say much about it. Night King 01, hype for Rumble in the Bronx, wood chipper. Jeez. Yes, dude. Oh, the wood chipper scene where they just put a guy in a wood chipper. That's phenomenal. And they also put a guy in a wood chipper in Fargo as well. So, all right, guys. So if you're no more questions, because I don't want you guys to ask something and I miss it. All I can do is say thank you guys so much for joining me for another live stream. It's been a blast. I think this was one of the longest live streams we've done in a while. And I was honestly going to do this for like an hour. I was like, I'm bored. I'll just talk to you guys for an hour. But yeah, how long have we been talking? Is it 3 hours? Are we at 3 hours almost? Ugh. I don't know how this happened. So fun. Okay. Total Recall remake. Did you see it? Yes, I did. I did not like it. It's just like, why is every new remake so bland and soulless? And what they do is they try to they switch things up for the sake of switching things up to say, oh, look, we're slightly different than the original. But everything they always switch up is a little bit more contrived and convoluted and less entertaining or less engaging than the original. And plus the other thing is every new remake, for the most part, it's just like they have this same color grade to them that looks like concrete. It's like we're going to desaturate the movie because now it's newer and serious. It's like, I hate that. Why do all new movies do that? All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today. I thank you guys so much for joining me. Hey, you, I sent you a $10 super chat, no response. Well, where is it? I don't want to leave you hanging, man. I did respond to it. You asked me thoughts on Zodiac, and you said you think it's underrated. And I did respond to it. I talked about it earlier. I did. I didn't leave you hanging, man. Yeah, I got you. No, maybe you sent another one. I'm sorry. Shit. Well, I can't leave you hanging. Sometimes this thing updates so slow, man. I don't see it on here. Oh, here's one. Damn5271. What's a better late night meal? Wendy's or McDonald's or Cane's? Okay. Was that the question? No, that wasn't even from him. But if I had to pick a late night meal between the two, I actually got McDonald's earlier. I feel like McDonald's always tastes the same because it's genetically engineered to do so. But Wendy's is overall, I think, the better experience. But when it comes to the late night, I go with McDonald's. It seems like you know exactly what you're going to get. It's not very good, but you know what you're going to get. It's a safer bet. Damn52, you guys keep asking questions. I don't mind, but I'm... All right, Damn5271, next live stream, pizza and Rumble in the Bronx. That can be arranged. That sounds like a damn good time. I'll tell you that right now. Maybe I can do that. Or maybe like an audio commentary for Rumble in the Bronx. I don't know. I'll see what I can do, man. Steve Goldie says, great live stream today. Well, I try to make every live stream as great as I can. I really do. They're almost therapeutic for me. And hey, you said you asked a question earlier, but I'm so stupid I missed it. I'm sorry for that. So I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes because I'm going to answer your question, man. I'm not going to leave you hanging because that would make me feel guilty and I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to look for it right now. If I can't find it here, it does not exist. Here it is. I found it. Yeah, I don't know what it is, guys. Sometimes when it comes to the questions and then it comes to my software, things get like skipped over. So, all right. Sorry for repeating the question earlier. What do you think of season 1 and 3 of True Detective? Sucks. I thought 3 was great. A great revival. Yes, I answered this earlier. I didn't leave you hanging. I talked all about True Detective earlier. Maybe it was a different question, but I thought I talked about it. Yeah, I said I loved season 1. Season 2 sucked hard. And then 3 was pretty good. Not as good as season 1, but pretty good. Yeah, I did answer that earlier. Am I crazy? I did answer that, or am I imagining things? What movie turned you on? I don't know. The Fanatic, I guess. Con Air. I don't know. As a kid, I can tell you the first movie that I remember watching as a kid, and I can vividly remember it. See, nobody would answer this question except for me. You get raw, visceral entertainment when you come to a Flick Pick live show. Okay? I'm not afraid. So as a kid, I remember watching True Lies in the movie theater. Yes, I saw True Lies as a kid in the movie theater with my father. And I remember the scene with Jamie Lee Curtis dancing and thinking, I'm now a man. So I think that was one of the first. And I hope that was a fulfilling answer to you. And can we just leave it there before things get too dark and sinister? Oh, man. The fake Chris Stuckman asked me, second shelf. Oh, no, I already answered that. Okay, no more questions, guys. I have to go. I need to eat. Oh, okay, we got one more question. You guys aren't going to let me leave, are you? I'm a prisoner. You're keeping me captive. What you're doing is illegal in 10 states right now. But I will answer this. Just for you. Please, no more questions. All right. Yeaman John, Darren Aronofsky canceled Batman Year One movie script, had the most crazy ideas, like making Batman growing up in a garage. He's a mechanic. Yeah, I remember Darren Aronofsky being attached to the Batman reboot film, and he had some crazy ideas. He had some wacky ideas from what I remember reading. And I'm just glad that Nolan got the project. But Darren Aronofsky would have been an interesting choice. But I love him as a director. Like The Wrestler was great. Some of his other films, his biblical films, was not really a fan of after that. But yeah, Aronofsky would have been great. You know what I think Aronofsky should have done is another question. Now you guys are keeping me. I can't leave. If you guys ask a question, I gotta answer it. So I feel fucking guilty if I leave. You know who I think should have directed a new Venom movie with Tom Hardy? Imagine a Darren Aronofsky Venom movie. Imagine that dark shit. That would have been a great Venom movie. All right, you guys aren't gonna let me leave. All right, okay. I guess I'm not leaving. Fuck my life. All right, here we go. Ethan Bennett, do you consider the Lord of the Rings trilogy a cinematic masterpiece? I do. I really do. I think the first 3 Lord of the Rings films are a cinematic masterpiece. As far as a personal connection goes, I don't have a personal connection to those movies. I don't necessarily love those movies, but I respect them. And I think they are classics. Like, you know, I could watch Return of the King. I could watch it tomorrow, but they are great movies. They're not like my favorite movies of all time. I don't know what's missing there. What weird void is missing for me. But yeah, I like them. And by the way, guys, speaking of the Lord of the Rings movies, I don't know if I can tell you this right now, but I don't care. I'm going to be working on a new sponsorship in a few weeks, and it's kind of cool. And one of the things that you can win is a one-on-one hangout session with Sean Astin. So look out for that giveaway thing happening. So I think if you guys want to, hang out with Sean Astin, well, look out for that. Colin, this is permission to eat. Use it. Don't just look at it, eat it. And in this case, I'll drink it. Well, what I want to eat is my double cheeseburger that I got from McDonald's earlier that's sitting in the refrigerator, just ready to be nuked to my microwave for my consumption. That's what I'm waiting to eat. Hey, you. Just admit it. Naked lunch turns you on. Laugh out loud. Naked lunch? No, it doesn't. What? Naked lunch? Blink-faced bug killer Bill Lee, played by Peter Weller, and his dead-eyed wife, Joan. Interesting. I'd never seen Naked Lunch. What a bizarre film. I've never seen it. Here's a topical question. DJ Run 01, what were you doing on 9/11? That's a great question, man. Well, I remember being in middle school. I think I was in 7th grade, and I rode my bike to school that day. And during the entire day of school, no one mentioned 9/11. This was before you had smartphones in your pocket. And I think the staff or the faculty, they did not mention it. They didn't want to upset the kids or whatever. So I left school that day. It was normal. And I remember riding my bike home. And then I noticed every gas station on the way home was backed up with traffic. Like there was a line of like 40 cars at every gas station fueling up with gas because they thought chaos was about to ensue, and more or less it sort of did. And I was like, what is going, are gas prices good? I don't know. I'm a stupid kid. I ride a bike. So then I got home, and I remember like my mom was watching the TV, and I started watching what was happening, and I saw the plane crash into the building, and it looked like a CG scene out of a movie. It looked fake. It looked like it wasn't real. And then it was sort of a weird feeling, like a surreal feeling of like, what does this mean? What's going to happen? What's next? It was bizarre. It really was. That's what I was doing. That's what I remember from 9/11. Colin, John, just go. Honestly, you've done more than enough. I've given you everything. Not everything. Not yet. The questions are the fucking questions keep coming. The questions keep coming. All right. Okay. Guys, please. I want to go die now. I'm going to keep answering. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'll keep answering them. We're past the point of no return. Okay? All right. Shut Up Cat Productions. Have you seen the movie Bronson? I have seen the movie Bronson. Rub it on my ass. It's my armor. Yeah, I liked it's based on a true story. I sort of liked Tom Hardy in the role. I didn't like the way that the movie was told or showcased. I didn't like how he was telling the story as he stood on stage talking to the camera and it broke the fourth wall. I didn't like that aspect of the movie, but I liked some of the bizarre scenes in the movie. Coda, who's your favorite character in Lord of the Rings? Probably Gollum. I'd definitely go with Gollum. Just a creepy little fucker addicted to the ring. His preciousness is precious. I've been there. I get it. He looks like a heroin addict. I love it. So probably Gollum was the most enjoyable character. G Money says, John, I love you. Well, I love you too, G Money. Okay, guys. No more questions, please. Do not ask another question. I can't answer it. I have to go. Yes, we've talked way too long. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Don't get scared now. Hope you guys have a great Friday night. I hope you guys had a fun time hanging out with me. I know I did. As always, if you guys can help that stupid YouTube algorithm, give the video a like, a thumbs up. It's all I really ask, honestly. But thank you guys for the support, just watching, and it does mean a lot, guys. And stay safe. Scarly asks one last question. No more questions. Do not ask another question. You are good to go relax, John. We love you. Well, I love you too, Scarly, and I thank you guys so much. And Pranny Dixit just became a YouTube member, so yay! That's awesome, guys. Yeah. If you're a YouTube member and you have the right perks, make sure you go to the community tab on my channel. And you can see all the perks on there, like the videos that you're entitled to see. So if you are, go there and watch those. Okay, guys. Stranger in the Alps. Bye, Johnny. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you guys for watching, joining in. I'm going to go die now. Actually, I have to go return some videotapes. And have a good night, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.